We made it, fam. It's been 2 years of waiting, and Shai Hulud, the maker, has come. Dune is it.
We made it.
So funny enough, Jen and I, almost 2 years ago, started doing our shows together, and the first time I had her on, it was just the whisper of Denis Villeneuve is going to be making this Dune movie. We're like, well, we know it's going to be beautiful.
Like, hey, you know the guy who did Blade Runner and what was the other movie he did? And it's like, hey, he's doing Dune.
Yes.
What was it?
Arrival.
Yeah,
Yes.
Arrival. He's
Prisoners.
doing Dune.
Yeah.
So we started talking about, boy, like, how do you think it's going to be? Like, is it going to get it right? Like, can you do it in one movie? And
Well,
Well, you can't.
as we know, you can't. David Lynch proved that very well, which you had a whole thing about David Lynch on Twitter today, which we'll get into.
It could have been a whole thing. I'm not as much of a thread guy, but yeah, let's get into that for sure.
But yeah, we'll get into that. But Carlito, you who have never read the book but kept threatening to over the last year.
Yeah.
Yes.
And after I saw this on Thursday night, on Friday, I talked to a super fan at work about it. And he's a good friend of mine also. And he's been talking to me about it because he's excited. But he's read all the books, all the prequel books, all that stuff. But I was like, hey, so you're going to bring me in your set of books so I can read them? Because I totally want to dive into the mythology and everything now. So
Yes. Nice.
You know,
dope, man.
I think that the real goal in like what I wanted to do is I just wanted people to go see this movie, but I think that that's the goal, right? Like the goal is to get people to want to read the book.
I had the fear of people watching it not understanding what the fuck's going on, kind of like how the book insults you the first 100 pages, which, yes, it does insult you, Carlito. Like, it's going to throw a bunch of shit at you, and you're going to be like, all right, like...
See, I'm like different than most people, though, because I like that. Like, I like trying to figure that stuff out instead of having, like, a huge exposition dump. Like, I'm not a fan of that. In movies either, so.
I read Jonathan Hickman, so I'm used to, like, just giant info dumps.
I feel like that's almost the book, though, where it does give you a lot of information where, like, especially because we get, and we'll obviously talk about this, but in the book, a big part of the, like, info dump is done by Princess Irulan. So, like, the first chapter of every book is just this, like, big info dump, and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, Princess Irulan?
Yeah.
This is where Sid pops up in the chat and goes, God damn it, Dan, she's fucking useless. Sid and I have long arguments about Princess Irulan.
She just needs an editor. Yeah, she just needs an editor. That's all.
Oh no, she's like Miranda from Sex and she's like Carrie from Sex and the City. She's just and Paul's basically Mr. Big. Like she wrote like 30 books just on one dude.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Her whole oeuvre is just Paul fanfic and reportage.
Carlito, since you're kind of the outsider to the Dune universe,
I feel left out.
You're a huge fan of cinema, though.
Yeah, and Denis and Hans Zimmer, and so.
Nice.
So walking into the movie, like, were you expecting to kind of be lost, or did you feel not lost with what it did?
Oh, I expected to be lost because I went in basically knowing about sandworms, and that's about it. So there you go.
From Beetlejuice, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God!
Same actor. They got the same actor from Beetlejuice for the sandworm in this one.
It's very touching.
Okay, we need you to make a big face like a butthole.
The forbidden butthole.
Forbidden butthole. That was some solid reviews on Letterboxd right now.
I hated the Hans Zimmer trashing going on.
What?
Oh yeah, that was like negative reviews where Hans Zimmer just mailed it in on this movie.
I don't know where that would come from. I don't know how you could have that take.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that came from either.
My friend Marcy, who is weirdly a super fan of the Dune Over.
Not the book, just our commentary on it.
She turned to me during it, and she goes, "That right there was from Dark Knight." It was the scene with the whole radar blipping with Lucius,
no.
and I was
Really?
like, was it? And I was like, I don't know. She's like, I recognize. She's like, it's reorganized, but I recognize elements of it. I was like, well, you could say that about any song
Yeah.
ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a lot of John Williams scores sound like
She
Star
also had
Wars or
some-
Superman.
Right.
She had some great Dune Over commentary because she's like, hey, do all the Harkonnens have alopecia?
They
Also-
might.
Sid might have an orgasm in the theater watching Oscar Isaac.
Hold up. So I want to know, because
just-
has she seen the movie?
Sid, she has to have.
Okay, because I saw it on Monday or
She was in the
Tuesday.
chat talking about it in our
Okay.
Spice Girls chat.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because I specifically did not say anything about this particular moment. So, like, the big spoiler of the moment of the movie is that Oscar Isaac is naked. He hangs dong. And he hangs sandworm in this movie. And I screamed, not for me, but for Sid, when I saw this. And I'm like, I want to, like, reach out to her so bad and, like, tell her, but I didn't want to ruin that, like, pure, authentic moment. So I really hope before she saw our comments in the chat that she knows.
My other commentary is Jen's going to be so mad there's no fucking filing cabinets.
You know,
Yeah.
I've watched this movie a couple times now.
The Thopters
6?
slapped.
They stopped.
The Thopters flapped. But there's not necessarily filing cabinets, but there are a lot of, like, bookcases.
We got
And
coffee.
we've got the coffee
Yes,
service.
coffee.
And
Mhm.
I do think that we did see some filing cabinets in the ecological testing sites.
Robert, I emailed it to you, to your page.
Yeah, where is Robert?
Unless it went into your spam folder, but I emailed it to you the other day when I said I was.
Hmm.
Oh, there he is.
Oh,
Hello.
Huzzah!
Hey.
Hey.
Huzzah.
How's it going, Robert? Welcome to the show.
I think you're muted.
He's got no volume. Robert,
can't hear you. Oh no!
he's got no sound.
Oh,
He's in that quiet dome thing that they.
We'll
Yeah,
just read
the
his
cone of
list.
silence.
Yeah. Much different than Get Smart.
Use the Bene Gesserit hand symbols.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have him muted. It doesn't show him muted, so it's something with his mic.
Probably not
no.
plugged in. Try plugging it in.
Have you tried turning it off
It's-
and on again?
That's that Apple. That Apple way. So, anybody new to our show? We have technical issues constantly. Like,
Yeah.
we had Rodney Barnes on. There was like 20 minutes of him saying, "I can't get in."
Yeah.
It's, again, this is the origin of the Butlerian Jihad also, perhaps.
Mhm. Like, do any of you watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where there's the episode where the hurricane is about to hit and they're afraid that the machines are going to take over, and Dee is just in the supermarket and she's like, kill the machines, and she's smashing. That is the origin of the Butlerian Jihad right there.
It started in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and just it carried.
Yes.
It's probably the most believable part of the whole universe, is that we would just eventually rise up against.
Was it posted
Thinking
on Truth
machine.
Social?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, so like there are some things in this also like, and I know this is like me nitpicking, and I'm sure they removed it for a reason, but the original teaser trailer that came out, there was more to the Gom Jabbar scene where they're having that dialogue with
Mhm.
okay, let's
Testing. Can you hear me now?
Oh, there's that.
There
look.
you
Here's
go.
that
Love it.
voice. Ah, love it.
Love you guys. Continue with the. I'm listening.
So the Gom Jabbar scene in the trailer, they did the "Well, my father rules a planet," and she's like, "He'll lose it." They took all that out,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which I think they had to because it spoils too much. Like you
Mhm.
want to kind of pull the taffy for the viewer.
Yeah.
And I totally get why they did it, but some of that dialogue is so great. I hate to lose it because Charlotte Rampling
Oh,
was so fucking great
the
as
Queen,
Reverend
for
Mother.
sure. Mm-hmm.
I think that they not just that, but they left out from the book a lot of the moments where Paul
Fear and Jessica.
and them they left out a lot of moments where Paul knows that he's going into a trap. Like Paul does see, like, hey, I'm seeing these visions of the planet, but not necessarily we're headed into a trap. But there is this sense of dread with the Harkonnen, and I think instead of like focusing on, hey, this is a trap that we're walking into, they focused more on like, we are House Atreides. There is no call that
we won't answer.
That we won't answer.
Yeah.
And so I feel like they did go into that like sense of honor and that sense of like we do what is right. And also the Baron Harkonnen, like they're not human, they're brutal. Like I feel like we did get a sense of like the Harkonnen are some bad bees.
Before we start digging into stuff, I wanted to welcome Robert, the comic book G-Spot, onto the show. I'm so glad you were able to join us. I had no idea you were a fan of the book until the last episode. And how did you just saw the movie yesterday? I believe
Yes, I did. I seen it on my birthday and the big movie theater.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
You guys,
Yeah, happy birthday!
I enjoyed it very much. Now everybody keeps smacking the David Lynch one. Okay, I get it. I'm old. I'm sorry. Okay, it isn't that bad as everybody says it is. Okay, it's still good for what it is for when it was. Okay,
but when it was is the important part, because I think this movie was
correct. 81, 82, I think it was.
84.
Yeah,
84. Yeah.
Okay,
But
so I mean,
technology.
one thing I like, I'm going to be honest. I'm forgetting the director's name that did this movie because he did
Denis
one of my
Villeneuve.
favorite movies. What's that?
Yeah.
Denis Villeneuve.
Thank you. He did also another alien picture that I liked a couple years ago. Arrival was one of my favorites. I love Arrival to no end. I tried talking about it, and people are like, "What are you talking about?"
Underrated. Underrated. Not
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah.
It's so good. It's so good. But
yes,
getting back to Dune, what he did to this movie, the dark moments, the dark cinema, the sound, the quiet, the desert being quiet.
Yes.
The only time you hear anything, the storm, or the buzzing, or any kind of talking. It's very surreal. And, in the moment that we're everything that's going on, it's like a perfect opportunity to bring this movie out the way they did it. I freaking loved it. Now, there's some stuff in this movie that is kind of taken down a notch where you can see where they took corners. I have to admit, I loved the mother, Jesuit, the mother sitting on her chair. The way they did it, you could still see her face and her eyes. And I'm sorry, spoilers. So if you're here, sorry guys. I'm gonna
spoiler alert. This is a show.
Spoiler alert. I apologize. But the way she's sitting there, and what got me, what I loved, is she goes, "Get over here!" And all of a sudden, his body is just, he's right there.
I love that. Yeah.
And they're showing something a little bit different compared to the original movie. All right, so it's like, it's gradual. It's not, and they kind of went from dun really quick in this movie. So we're going to get to the nuts and bolts finally when the second one comes out, and that's what I'm looking forward to. Because I mean, look at Baron, for example. He was very mellow. Yeah. You didn't see him get hardcore or anything like we remember him, even in the book. It's a masterpiece as far as I'm concerned.
So it looked like he learned his lesson from Blade Runner 2049 with pacing.
Yes.
Where I felt the first 2 hours, there was no drag.
No.
Oh, no.
My buddies were telling me, a couple of my buddies seen Dune already, and they were telling me, and they're like, it's just like the movie, or it's just like the old one. I go, no, it can't be. It's got to be different, And then when I was sitting there watching it, I had two buddies in the movie theater with me that left. I'm like, what? Seriously?
Boo.
I go, I'm done.
Boo.
I'm falling asleep. I go, are you serious? Bye. See ya.
They are not your friends.
No,
They are your
I said,
buddies.
"See
They
ya."
are
Let them
not your
out.
friends.
I turned around and said, "See ya, bye."
Wow.
The scope and cinematography
Oh yeah.
in this, where it's just an epic movie.
Yeah,
And I
it
saw
is.
people
Beautiful.
saying it's like this generation's Lord of the Rings,
Exactly.
where
Exactly.
just the scale and just everything being presented to you is just grabs you in. And they do such a great job setting the mood and foreboding tone, where they keep showing that fucking bull.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I
Mhm.
seen that too. And the thing was, what I really appreciated is, I'm saying this wrong, so I apologize, guys. But when you give me all right, geometry, shapes, the
Mhm.
shapes of like the ships, round
The
ships,
symmetry.
Yeah.
square ships, triangle ships,
Yeah.
monstrosity. I mean, I loved it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like taking. Here's the thing that I get excited about. It's like I'm a Ridley Scott fan. I liked a lot of Ridley Scott movies,
yeah.
and I like his style, because when you look at these directors, what happens to some of our favorite movies? As an example, everybody told me about Halloween. I told everybody, be careful. It has 3 people that actually direct and write for that movie, the newest one.
Yes.
There's just a lot of people into it. But when you got a limited amount of creativity and you let the director do what he wants, it's like putting a paintbrush in his hand and voila, you're getting a story visually well done. You don't need all the special effects. And that's one thing I enjoy. Here's another thing, guys. Did you notice no computer screens? The only communication was behind the ear.
Mhm. Yeah.
I loved it.
Well, yeah.
For
And that
a
was,
very particular reason, yeah.
and that's a very particular reason. Yeah.
I actually, Carlito on our show, I compared Denny to a modern day Ridley Scott. Like, he's the next generation of
That's
Ridley
what he
Scott.
really reminds me of. I mean, he's just like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was, yeah, I can't wait to watch it again. I'm definitely watching it again.
I just watched it on HBO Max
Did ya? Yeah.
today, but boy, it loses something outside of
Yeah.
the theater.
It does.
Sure.
It
Yeah.
really does. And
I
it's
have
funny.
an Atmos 7.1, and like it still doesn't do it justice.
No.
I have like the tiniest like TV, and obviously it's not going to do much there. But I think that we were talking backstage about how like a couple years ago we heard Denis Villeneuve was like, no, this has to be a theater release. You can't also release it on HBO Max at the same time. And he was like, the science says that COVID will be gone, and you know
We trashed him. We trashed him. Literally.
We drug him through the dirt. But honestly, this is what I keep telling people. Like, if you can see it in theater, please see it in theater.
Yep.
If you can see it in IMAX, please see it in IMAX. Like,
Yeah.
The only other movie that I've seen in IMAX was Guardians of the Galaxy 1, and I fucking hated IMAX. I'm like, you're telling me I have to pay $20 for a ticket for this shit? Like, no, thank you.
Yep.
And now I'm like, please take my money. Like, I'm probably I got free tickets to IMAX to go see it, but I'm probably going to pay and go see it again in IMAX because it was just perfect.
So I kind of have a theory that they already greenlit part 2 because I have a feeling when they moved the day and date for HBO Max, you heard nothing out of him about it, which I figured you would have heard.
They made
hush money.
But even look at it was released in Europe before it got released in the United States. It made over 87 million or more.
It's at
there.
174 right now. And
bravo. Well done.
US not so much. I figured this weekend for the US got to clear 50 mil.
It already has.
I was gonna say, I thought it had already.
As of yesterday, it was at 22.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I looked at the domestic numbers this morning. I was posting them in our private chat. The Suicide Squad had 4.7 million views on HBO Max, so it has to hit probably around there.
Well,
I think it'll hit that between Jen streaming it all day and
I literally, seriously, 30 days, I will be streaming it at least once a day, if not more.
Yeah.
So I'm coming for this movie.
Here, another favorite scene of like an example. I'm gonna spoilers. So I mean, The one thing I liked differently compared to the original, and especially it was like pulling it right out of the book, when the mother Jesuit had his hand in the box, when she drags him over, that whole scene, everything about that, I felt like I was reading it right out of the book. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And you didn't need no special effects. You didn't need to see the burning of his flesh. None of that. All you see is his hand in the box, and you see him twitch it. And it gives
I think you do see like a burnt hand at one
Yeah,
point.
there's like a,
It was
there's
in
a
the
vision
sand.
of it.
Yeah.
It's like a vision of it. Yeah.
But like that's it.
Yeah.
really quick. But
Mhm.
that whole section. I have to say one thing though: the poison needle.
Gom Jabbar.
Okay.
I like the
I
actual
thought-
fingernail better.
Yeah, I like the big one better than I like the tiny one. It looked like a mosquito.
That's why I bought Jen
Yeah.
last year for her birthday.
Yeah.
There's I watched the whole featurette just this morning actually of Villeneuve talking about that scene and like breaking it down and breaking down
really?
how he wanted to sort of light it, you know, because it was very dark on top, but then there was this sort of weird lighting that looked like it was coming out of the floor, but
I love the
but it
thought that
wasn't
goes
coming out of
into that.
anywhere. Yeah, and having the Reverend Mother Mohaim be like, you know, a little bit taller than Paul with her like headdress thing like you're talking about, and you know the staging of that. Yeah, I just love that.
One of the things that I didn't like about the moments with the Reverend Mother is that every time, well, not every time, but like you do see moments where Jessica is
Breaking
afraid. She, so like I have conflicted feelings about this because in the book you hear, obviously because in the book and in the 1984 David Lynch, you hear the thoughts. So like people are narrating their own thoughts, and you know that like Jessica's afraid of the Reverend Mother, but I think because they had to leave the narration out, they had to put in like a physical reaction, and I think that Jessica's physical reaction to a lot of things didn't feel right, because part of the Bene Gesserit training is that they can control their nerves, they can control their reactions to things, but I didn't appreciate the physical reaction that Jessica had. The nervous like twitching, like that felt out of character for me.
So apparently Denny gave her the direction. I watched an interview where he said, I want her to have a more emotion about her son being in this moment, where in the book she's internally like having this, but she's not showing it. And he got rid of all the internal monologue except for Paul and his dreams.
Yeah, I'm curious because Dan, you brought up, you know, how Carlito hasn't read the book yet, and I'm wondering how like those moments, like for someone that hasn't read the book, because we're kind of responding to like the adaptation of it, right? But Carlito, like for you, those moments, how did that work for you? Did you feel like you kind of got what the emotional thrust of that was, or? Yeah,
and it's nice to hear a perspective from you guys that have all read the books, because I'm sitting there just thinking, well, yeah, that's her son, and she's a mother, and she's reacting normally, but I didn't quite think deep enough about, you know, the Bene Gesserit and how they're kind of controlling. But I think, I mean, from a non-book reader perspective, I think Denny made the right call there, because I think if she had been like emotionless or just kind of, you know, stoic or whatever, I don't think it would have played as well. The tension and the build up and stuff like that. So I think he made a choice to change it, but I think he made the right call.
I thought Rebecca Ferguson was a great casting, especially that she was mainly known for the Mission Impossible movies and then Dr. Sleep.
I loved her in Dr. Sleep.
Rose the Hat.
She pulled a good bit of.
I like Dr. Sleep as well.
Yeah.
The beauty, and you know, you could see why like Leto would fall for her, even though she was planted. And I thought their interactions between them were pretty great.
Well, let's be honest, or why she would fall for Leto, because come on.
Yes.
Oscar Isaac.
Alicia. Well, let's get to this question first. I didn't get the dream parts. Seeing other people's dreams or his, did they not come true? So in the book, Paul sees many different paths.
He has many different visions.
So, like in one of those dreams, there was one with Jamis showing him how to ride a worm.
Yep. And if you notice, twice in the movie, you actually see the desert people,
The Fremen.
Fremen.
the Fremen.
Mhm.
You see them with hooks in their hands.
Yep.
Oh,
Gee, what was that for?
Kynes
No
was ready
wonder.
to go. Kynes
Yeah.
was ready
Ready to
to.
rock and roll.
her.
That was a good change too, because Kynes in the book
What's the
dies
matter,
by
Jen?
himself out in the desert, and then going out the way she did.
That was I think that scene right there. I mean, I thought that we were going to talk. I mean, we'll probably talk about it a little bit later, but that was hands down probably one of my favorite scenes in the entire. Where she's just like, I have
He
one
puts the
god,
thumper down.
and
Yeah.
it is Shai
That was-
Hulud.
That was
Ah.
awesome. Yeah.
That
Solid.
was such a solid death for that character, and I thought it was a great way to go out.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa, it felt like got a lot of Gurney Halleck parts from the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, did.
What, you mean Duncan?
Duncan, yeah.
Duncan.
My disappointment with Gurney was he didn't play a ballast set. He did
And
play some
They played the
poetry.
fucking bagpipes.
He did play.
I don't know.
He played- He
I
wasn't
don't-
playing him. He was just there.
No, he was
just
there.
I like that though, because
Mhm.
they did have him more stoic, and they definitely showed that he was a poet. Like he was reciting
right.
a lot of
Totally.
poetry through the entire thing, which I really appreciated. But
I'm hoping when he comes back, he'll be playing a ballast set in the. Maybe that's what we'll get.
Nice.
Way spoilers for the next movie,
Yeah.
guys.
What did
What?
you think about the Harkonnens?
Sorry, Carly. I'm
Stellan
sorry.
Skarsgård playing.
Well, hopefully I
Baron.
can read the book by the next movie.
Yeah,
So
Stellan Skarsgård, I thought, was
Mhm.
playing an interesting, menacing take on the Baron, where the other Barons I've seen on TV and the old movie
Mhm.
weren't as menacing.
Menacing or demonically demented the way
disgusting.
you see a moment where there is some woman, she's holding on to something in her hand.
she's playing some music. There's
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, did you see that? And they kind of like softly like went away from that. There was a few moments like that.
well,
Oh, I-
in the books, there's I forget what the name of the music is called, but there's
Zamuda?
music. Yeah, Zamuda, and you get it. It's like psychoactive music that you can get addicted to. Like I saw that, and like bless my partner who like put up with me like being like, that's music that they get addicted to, yo. Like, oh man, did you see that fucking bull behind them? Yeah.
Well, amazingly, I thought Sid would be like, why is Piter not talking as much?
Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
But so at a certain point, I turned to my friend who was with me, and I was like, I think Stellan Skarsgård is doing Colonel Kurtz, Marlon
Yes.
Brando from
A lot of
Apocalypse
that.
Now.
Oh,
That's a lot of
Like,
people. Yeah.
He was
Mhm.
doing the whole head like,
Mhm.
and I swear he goes,
Yeah.
it's like a bug going across a razor blade. Like,
Yeah.
literally, like it was getting to that point. I was like, it's an interesting choice because honestly, like Marlon Brando back in the day,
Mhm.
doing that Colonel Kurtz part
Oh yeah.
would have been incredible in this role.
Yeah.
Spectacular. Yeah. Absolutely. He was bringing the sort of physical menace of his character from The Hunt for Red October and the sleaziness of his character from Good Will Hunting.
Right.
Carlito, what was the character that you during this you kind of gravitated towards being like new to the whole series?
Paul.
Sad boy, fellow sad boy.
And I'm gonna butcher it. I can't remember Jason Momoa's
Duncan, Idaho.
Duncan.
Duncan. Those
Yeah,
two
he
for
did
sure.
a good job.
Yeah, gotta love Duncan.
My honey was a little disappointed, and I go, "You know he's going to pass, right?" She's like, "Yeah."
But so gloriously.
All right,
My-
spoiler alert.
My
Read the
wife,
book.
my wife is
he
reading the
he
book
went out in
currently,
glory.
I'm
and
sorry,
she
guys.
stopped reading it.
Anything, I'll shut my mouth.
No, but my wife was reading the book, and she stopped reading right before Duncan dies.
No.
Oh.
And so
No.
she's like, "Oh, well, that's
So now she-
it's like I know, I'm sorry."
She'll never pick it up. She'll
Yeah,
never
never
pick it back
read
up.
it again.
She's like, "Fuck this book."
Yeah.
Threw it
I'm a
across the.
huge- my favorite out of the Dune, and this is just me. Maybe I'm weird. I don't know, but I like the Jesuits. I like
The-
Jessica.
Yeah.
Many
I'm
Jesuits,
a
yeah.
huge Jessica fan. I always have.
Oh yeah.
Even
Yeah.
out of the book, I love that whole. What's the word I'm looking for?
mythology or
the mythology.
Yeah.
They're witches, basically.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say the
Um,
most interesting like storyline that I liked from the movie was the Bene Gesserits for sure. Like I just
Their
want to
genetic
go
breeding
read
Because
all
if
about
you
it.
look at them, if you look at her and you listen, even in the story of the book, if you listen to what they say, how powerful they truly are.
But they don't show it. They're
No,
in the dark.
they
No.
do not.
Yeah.
And they've got, it's like this thing I keep saying about society. They got their like religions and religious groups have got their fingers in everything. Same thing. There's always something. They might not like when she's talking to the Baron, and the Baron like gives her word. That whole thing. She's just kind of like, you could see she's disgusted, like doesn't want to be there.
Yeah,
Also-
and there's moments with the Bene Gesserit, like you can just they're feared and respected,
Even
and in
Jessica.
that moment where the Reverend Mother is talking to the Baron Harkonnen, and the Baron is basically like, we won't hurt the boy, like, and she's like, he's under our protection, because Jessica is, you can't hurt either of them, and he's like, okay, don't worry. And then when she leaves, he's like, okay, I guess technically we won't hurt them, but like obviously they gotta die. And then even when the moment when Jessica goes to Leto and is like, I need to tell you something about our son, and he's like, I don't want to hear any of it, I need you to protect him. And she's like, of course I'll protect him, he's my
He's
son.
like, no, the Bene
And
Gesserit
he's like,
side.
no, I need to hear that the Bene Gesserit are going to protect him. Like, when you read the book, you'll get this much grander scope of the Bene Gesserit.
That was such a strong scene too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Also, there's lines in this movie that I'm so happy made it in, like the Reverend Mother going, "I hope you survive, young human."
Yes.
I love. Like, I was mad that they didn't have the infected with terrible purpose.
Yeah.
Because that's the ultimate sad boy line.
And plans within plans within plans.
Yeah.
Speaking of sad boy, though, I know we're kind of like jumping to different moments in it, but I think that the moment where Jessica and Paul are in the tent together,
Yes.
like they've this is after the fall of their house, and basically all of them have died, and they narrowly escaped into the desert, which is going to kill them. They were given the
Friend kit.
the Fremen kit by
Huey. Yeah, Huey provided that. Yeah.
And so, anyways, in the book, there's a couple of moments where they're both in the desert, but I think that they kind of squished all of them together.
Yeah.
But in these moments, Paul is really getting like his first big whiff of spice. And we see that it affected him a little bit, but then when they're in the desert, he's like this terrible, so that's where those visions come in, because part of his training and part of his birthright as a son of a Bene Gesserit is that he can see into the future, and he can see these paths, and these visions that he sees are kind of playing tricks on him. And so this is really when he has that like sad emo boy moment in the desert with his mom. And in the book, it's so comical because
with
he's
his
like,
mom.
With his mom in a fucking tent.
Yeah,
and he's like, you made me a freak. Like, you Bene Gesserit made me a freak. Like, when he has that like freak out moment in the book, it's kind of hokey. But in this movie, I think that they did it perfectly. Like, I loved it. I loved it so much.
Yeah, totally.
So
I love that part too. Yeah, just the emotion in that, and it's very truncated, but it works.
So Heather, I've seen this described as the longest prologue ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But honestly, this is the part that needs to be told to get to the second part, because the second part's going to go. You're going to be running and not walking.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be boom, boom, boom. You're going to get those moments.
See, for me, like, it flew by. Like,
of the whole
it just like it ended, and I'm like, wait, it's over already? It's been 2.5 hours. Like, what the hell?
Perfectly too.
But I'm a freak like you. Like, I was just thinking when you were talking about the Bene Gesserit and stuff, like, I went back to Baelish in Game of Thrones because I'm the freak outsider that loved Baelish and his little plans and behind the scenes and stuff. And that stuff just fascinates me. And like the Blacklist with the Cabal
Chaos
and stuff like that. So
what you're going to find in the book, they lay it out early. is they start talking about things in threes, plans within plans within plans.
Yep.
And Cinia, who was with us on the first Dune Over, was like, everything's in threes.
Yep.
And she pointed that out. And
Yep.
yeah, everybody's got their own thing going on. And in the book, they pretty much point out that Leto knows he's walking into a trap.
Yeah.
His thing is, I know it's a trap. I'm going to walk right into it. And
we are Atreides. There is no call that we don't answer.
Yeah, we are
their
Edward
family is
Stark.
known for being kind of reckless.
That's what. As soon as I saw Oscar Isaac's character and they went to that planet, I'm like, God dang it, another Edward.
I'll tell you,
yeah.
For sure.
I'll be honest, you guys. My only disappointment with this movie, you want to know what it was? Very simple thing. It was
no Oscar Isaac full frontal nudity.
No. It was cosmetic.
You got side butt, Robert.
No,
Come on.
no ear. Yeah, no earline. No earline.
That was mine, but
I have to say, no, it's a little tiny thing, and really, I wanted to see more.
So definitely not.
Okay, when they show Dune, they show the planets and they show the hand of God. They show the symbolism, okay, which is very cool. It was like a light dusting of the redness on the planet. You didn't see that deep red. That I wanted to see more red. Sorry, that's just me. I just wanted to see more red on the planet at the surface. You didn't see a lot of that.
I kind of agree with you because in the movie and I know this is CGI, but there's moments where they're going over the desert and you really know that it's CGI. I mean, not that I'm like, they couldn't spring for a budget to like go to Arrakis or anything but
Tom Cruise is going to space.
Yeah. So like there's moments where they're flying over the desert and it just looked too smooth. And you're right, like it looked too like khaki colored, which I know khaki is like the word for sand. I get it, but like I agree. It needed to look grittier.
I can see that.
Grittier, a little more red.
Yeah.
A little more red.
I felt they showed a good amount of time of showing how wet Caladan was and how water-rich it was before going to this other planet.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Portland. I'm like, I go like literally like that.
Caladan's Portland.
Looks like Caladan is the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
For like 5-6 months out of the year.
I walked out on my patio and I was like, Caladan. And I was
Those ornithopters were freaking cool, man.
They flapped.
Yeah. Oh man, I love those. Those are cool, right? I want a Lego ornithopter. I will definitely buy that immediately.
I want a.
Oh, I know one thing. I'm going back to Target and buying all the action figures. I think they're freaking huge. Baron is ginormous.
Yeah.
Ginormous.
I want an ornithopter drone. That's what I want.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Those I really liked the tweakness of like the shuttlecrafts that they're using on the planet. Dragonflies.
Oh man.
Yeah.
The symbolisms in
the
this
ornithopter.
movie just,
Yeah.
Man.
Love the Spacing Guild Hayliner.
Yeah.
Was right out of the book. It's everything that was on the cover of the book. I stopped and I was like, holy shit. And my friend Marcy's like, what are you shitting about? I was like, it's right out of the cover of the book. Like it's
I'm loving it.
Literally.
Love it.
And she's like, oh my God, you're such a nerd. I was like, no, you don't understand. Like, I've been reading this forever. You're new to this world. Like this.
My buddy that did stay with me, him and I are the same age. His birthday was a couple days ago, so we both have the same birthdays together. That buddy stayed and watched it with me with my wife. So him and I are talking slowly in the movie. Do you see that? Oh my God! I mean, we're like little boys, and they're like freaking out. I'm like, because it's been what 30 something years or more. You know,
more than that. Yeah, like,
more than that. I mean, even reading the book and
60. The book came out in 65.
65.
But the movie is 84, so like just even
all of that combined, you know, because you try to explain to somebody asks about what it is, and you explain it the best way you can, and then it's like, I don't get it. Really? What do you not get?
Carlito, if you don't mind me asking, because like I know that I could literally talk for an hour about what this book is, or what this movie is based on everything I know about the book. But if you had to give like a description of what this movie is about just from the movie, like how would you describe this one?
Like to someone who's never read the books or just like a general audience goer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about a lot about that, and the first thing that just came to mind, even though I know this came out before, was like Game of Thrones meets Star Wars.
Yeah.
Except on a
It's very
higher
political.
plane.
Yeah,
Higher
totally.
plane.
I definitely think that Denis Villeneuve saw that meme where it's like Dune is Star Wars for goths and just fucking ran with it. He was like, that's
Yeah.
my vision. There was a
Yeah.
vision board with that meme up,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Well, what's funny, 2 years ago, 2.5, maybe 3 years ago, Kevin Smith at the IMDb boat party in San Diego Comic-Con, he's talking to
the
him.
before times.
He's talking to him and he goes, so, like, I heard you're interested in Dune, man. And he goes, look, I start this way. I respect David Lynch. David Lynch Dune, very good for its time.
Yeah.
But it's not the Dune I know.
Yeah.
And he goes, I plan on making book fans happy with Dune.
Nice.
And it'd be my Dune.
Yeah.
And motherfucker did it.
I call this basically a love story.
It is.
Because it's a masterpiece.
It's a passion.
Really, though, that's all a Denis.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
pretty much,
Definitely.
in my opinion. But
Definitely.
Has anyone checked on Alejandro Jodorowsky?
No.
Has anyone heard from Alejandro Jodorowsky?
Well,
He said months ago this movie sucked.
He said that.
Yeah, he said it. He said it's too long and it sucks. The guy who wanted to make the 14-hour version said it's too long and it sucked.
Really? Did he really say that?
Yes, he did.
I mean,
am
he's
shocked.
he's a character.
Yeah.
Let's not.
He's got a chip on his shoulder. I
let's
get
not
it.
take-
But
Well,
he's
they
on
wasn't
his-
given the budget.
He's on
But
his
honestly,
1,000th
I want to hear Ridley
Metabarons
Scott.
volume or whatever.
Ridley Scott almost made the David Lynch version. He was in there until his brother died. So I want to know what Ridley Scott thinks of this.
Yeah, me too. I would like to know too.
Especially since this knocked Last Duel right out of the theater.
Well, he's too busy making another movie, like right now, probably. He's just like still working at 80, whatever he is.
Yep.
Yeah.
By the way, I saw The Last Duel.
How was
Thumbs
it?
up.
good.
Thumbs
I
up from
wanted to
me.
see that.
But
I'll watch it.
I am a Ridley Scott mark, so
How
I
was it?
was.
Even Tony
but
Scott.
He's been hit or miss for me the past decade. So
if one of the things that I heard about that movie, maybe it was just like an anecdote or something, was that it featured some trigger warning scenes.
yes,
Yes.
it does. It is
And-
about. It is about. It's a trigger warning. I mean, it is about rape. It is about sexual assault.
Okay.
I think they handle it well. I would definitely want to hear from other people how they feel like they handled it. But
Okay.
that's certainly part of it. It's probably good to know going in.
Got it.
Mm.
So, like, how would you describe, like, I know you said, like,
Mhm.
the first thing, if you try to sell this movie to somebody who's not, like, a fan of it, like,
Mhm.
for me, I'd probably be like, it's a beautiful ass movie. Like,
Yes.
whatever you think of it, you'll come in saying, that's fucking beautifully shot.
Mhm.
Even the people who hated Blade Runner 2049,
Mhm.
they walked in, they're like, it's a beautifully shot movie.
Yeah, looks great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I would sell it. I mean, yeah, it's an experience. And again, like Jen was saying, like IMAX, see it in IMAX if you can, because it truly is like the only other IMAX experience I've had like that is when I saw Gravity, which is like probably one of my favorite movies.
Gravity's
That just
a
like
movie.
Good.
yeah, which just like makes me feel like there's pressure on my chest for the whole 90 minutes of that movie.
Yeah.
And it's just like but it's like that. It's like, the soundtrack and the sound design will like melt your skeleton inside of you. And the vistas are amazing. Yeah, everything about it, like just it's a treat in that way. And I saw the new James Bond movie. It's shorter than that, but feels like even shorter than the new James Bond movies.
It really moved quick.
It was the fastest moving 2.5 hour movie I've seen in a long time.
I heard that was a good thing, though. Like
What,
Yeah,
Bond?
no, exactly. that
the
it was
Bond
shorter.
one, yeah.
Oh, the Bond one. Oh, yeah, that it was long, or that it
Oh,
was.
you heard it? I misheard you.
I'm
I thought you said it
confused.
was.
I don't know.
Oh, no,
what
I'm
it
saying-
is.
Yeah, I'm saying that
Gotcha.
the Dune movie is a little bit shorter than the Bond movie,
Gotcha.
but it feels like a 90-minute movie compared to the Bond movie. Whereas yeah, so I mean it is a long. Dune is long, but it just zoom.
It zoomed by, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I just feel like it's tight and it's propulsive. Yeah.
Like I kind of felt when the ending was coming, even though I didn't know what the runtime was, and I was like, no, I don't want it to end.
I think it was a good time for it to end. That was a good stopping
Perfect.
point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Timothy Chalamet did some great sad boy performance in this.
Yeah, that was one of the like. There's the Liet Kynes scene and that scene in the tent. Like
you're drinking tears and sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
He did a good job.
Roger Deakins is amazing.
Yes. Your DPs, Roger Deakins and Greg Fraser. Denny, the last couple of films.
I'm telling you, those two together are like Bob Ross. They just they just freaking paint the canvas, man.
Yeah,
it's just amazing.
Absolutely.
Like I went into this cautiously nervous because I was afraid that it was going to be so dense that the common viewer was going to get lost.
Yeah, low
dude, I got it.
Yeah, there you go. There's our test case right there.
Yeah. I was nervous. Like my partner had to like calm me down and was like, "Are you okay?" Because of course I had my mask on in the theater and it's got like some fringe stuff on it, and the entire time I'm just like, I spent the entire movie just
you have a fidget mask.
Yeah, that's exactly like fidget spinner. And right before the movie, like my heart was pounding. I was having a panic attack in the movie. I mean, granted, I go to the fucking grocery store and have a panic attack, but like thinking about how much this movie meant to me going in, it blew away all my expectations.
Awesome.
So I was the asshole. Like my friend Marcy was running late, and I'm like, "Come on, get here! Like I need to get my seat. Like I need to have my perfect seat."
That's me. Yeah,
I'm that dude.
Yep. I was there like 40 minutes early.
And then we walked in. There's only 20 people in the theater.
It's neat.
I was lucky too. Like I would say 80 to 90% of the theater were not wearing masks, but the Indian family next to me, who had like 3 generations, they were really like respectful, great people, but they all had their masks on.
Yeah.
The mother did whip out her phone once, but I gave a stern look over and she put it away. And the husband like looked at her like, "What are you doing?"
I said this backstage, but so the first time I went and saw it, it was in IMAX. But then on the opening night, I did go and see it in like a smaller, more intimate theater. And here in Oregon, there is still a mask mandate. Like you have to wear your masks indoors. And the family in front of us, because this theater is one of those theaters where like they bring in food and they say like, okay, like you have to have your mask on, but put it back on if you're like actively eating or drinking. Yeah. And so the family in front of me, 3 people did not have their mask on like the entire fucking time. And that just annoyed the shit out of me. But the woman kept pulling out her phone, and I am just like, this is the origin story of the Butlerian Jihad, because
Boo.
I want to kill every machine right now.
Yeah. Yes.
Except for the projector.
Except you know, we still have projectors in in Dune, so
we can still watch films.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I was the asshole taking notes on my notepad on the phone.
Oh
no!
Boo.
No.
Did you have the light all the way low though?
I had it low, but like,
no.
I appreciate your honesty.
Oh, come on, man!
Boo.
Appreciate your honesty, at least.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
I also had a row all to myself.
Well,
still, the people behind you can still see it because I was behind this person.
They were five rows behind me.
5. You're all right then.
I have
literally 20 people in the whole IMAX theater. Like it was kind of sad.
That's good if you could have like a huge theater like that. With like 20
I know
people.
it's like not on topic, but just seeing the awesome, great trailers of Batman, Spider-Man, and the Eternals.
Yes,
I got freaking chills.
I didn't get any of those.
Oh,
I got a Matrix.
Everybody's giving a lot of crap to Internals. I am waiting for the Internals for a while.
Yeah, I actually see that as
I'm a Kirby fan, but I heard that Kirby got knocked out of the credits on it. Like
what?
No.
Get out
way.
of here.
No way.
Whose ass do I have to go kick?
There was an article about it, Kirby getting kicked out of the credits on it.
Jen, make sure you use the voice, please.
I will.
Was it on CBR or Bleeding Cool? Like something that
I can't remember, but like,
come on.
Weirdly, this Kirby slander going on online has been bothering the shit out of me.
I haven't seen any of it. Like, I just hear that it's happening, but I haven't actually seen it.
That's how it always is with things like that. I feel like it's like one dipshit says something dumb, and then Twitter's like, "This guy's a dipshit," and they're like, "We know."
Yeah. 10 guesses on like what kind of comics group that they align themselves
Oh,
with.
jeez.
Thank
Yeah.
you. There
I only
you
need
go.
one. I only need one.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
you, Jen.
So listen, Kirby
It
in
wasn't me,
general,
guys. It was not me. I swear to
he
God.
was a guy who worked his ass off to feed his fucking family. He did 8 pages a damn day and was doing 8 books. And I'd say he's probably the brunt of what carried Marvel for a while. Stan Lee gets all the credit, but
Yeah.
like,
He's a
Is that
lord.
a coloring book?
No, it's the
No, it's-
artifact edition of it's the Kirby artifact edition.
Man, I would take
That's
some
really
like
cool.
pencils to that or something.
oh no.
I would have a second copy, okay?
No, yeah,
There
yeah.
you go.
Well, yeah, of course you would buy 2. You'd buy
Oh,
Yeah,
two.
of course
Kirby
I would buy
crack.
2. Duh.
All Kirby crackle and purple and pink.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
got
doggy.
the Thor Walt Simonson edition of the artifact that I love to death.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, were
Yeah.
you saying something that you had a
Well,
question?
I had like a big picture question. I don't know if we're like getting too far ahead of like just talking about the movie, but we've touched on like,
A broad
many,
spectrum.
many of us are like fans of the material, and but you've also sort of expressed anxiety about, the adaptation, how the adaptation will do. And I've been thinking a lot about like people who love like, Marvel Comics or like this novel, and us getting wrapped up in how it gets adapted and like that being successful and like, and I don't know, like maybe it's just, this irrational thing we have called fandom, but like, I was just curious, like, does it feel weird being invested in like the performance of a big budget movie from a huge studio by a huge director that's an adaptation of something you love rather than just like, I mean, you kind of mentioned it earlier, but just like, let's just get people to read the book. And like, what's that like? What's that like? Is that weird? Is that a weird thing?
Kind of, because I think that I go into a Marvel movie especially, and I'm just like, the way that Marvel has been done and redone and done, and within the comic book history, like there's no really, I mean, there is like kind of a timeline, and there's a couple things that like, there are very specific things about the characters, but if you take a look at, say, the Infinity Saga with the Marvel movies, it is nothing like the book. But I think,
0%.
but that's because like we've also seen like a couple of iterations, like with Thanos and things like that. Like we've, what source material are they really going to go to? I think that they have a lot of freedom to do what they want, but I think this book adaptation did a lot of freedom, but in a really, really good way.
In a really good way.
Tasteful way.
They made some good choices. Like I know early on he said there is a female problem in this universe.
Yeah.
So he was like, Liet Kynes is a perfect character to switch over.
Yeah.
And there were even, I mean, I could go into like the politics of this, but there's even female soldiers that are sitting at Duke Leto's table. And I mean, granted, like to me, that's not feminism where we're like, we need more female prison guards.
Revisionist for 68 and the 84 version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a big critique of this movie and everything is in general, there's not enough Middle East, North African actors, actresses in this. Are there more people of color in this? 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I do think it was like pretty diverse cast, considering
Big
that
time.
for sure.
Is it enough for a lot of people? No.
No,
Yeah. Well,
it's not enough.
I mean, it also, it's
Let's
like carrying
think
the,
about this for a moment. Here, we're going to talk about. Okay, here was my biggest issue with Star Wars. Okay, the very first Star Wars.
not
movie-
enough Oscarized nudity.
Wait a
Sorry,
minute.
I keep
No,
thinking.
no, it wasn't nudity. Let me tell you something. If you watch Star Wars, the unedited version, when you watch it in the movie theater, I watched it 5 times in the movie theater when I was a kid, and I still remember to this day. Everybody's getting into this whole, I'm going to pronounce this correctly, Mandala effect, not Mandela effect. Now, I got the definition from a good buddy.
Mandela effect?
Mandela.
That is, that's
That's
evidence
a thing. That's
of
a
the
thing now.
effect.
Yeah, that's a thing now.
It's like, is it Berenstein
Wait,
Bears?
effect or
Berenstein
effect?
Bears. That's the point.
You get it, Jen. Yes, you understand what I'm saying, but it's like, wow.
Objects in mirror may appear closer than they seem.
But here's an example. This is a fantasy film. This is a story, okay? And people getting too political with the agendas of things that are going on in our society now and trying to implant them into something we have already read and watched and read multiple times in our heads of what's there. That should be good. This is the artist. This is the writer. This is the guy that's doing this movie. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, it's all there. If someone's not, you're not going to make everybody 100% happy. You're just not. No matter what point you do. As an example of this, sorry about that, the Star Wars thing. Okay? You watch that. What's wrong with science fiction in general? It's kind of hard to think that every species across this entire universe is going to look like us. Doesn't make sense. Why are they always?
Thank you, Carl Sagan.
Oh, thank you for bringing up Carl Sagan. Thank you. Thank you.
Billions and billions.
Why? Why?
I mean, isn't that more of isn't it the Drake equation?
Something like that. Yeah.
Really, if we're going to get into it, I think that's more
the Drake equation.
See,
Yeah.
You get it. But see, this is the thing. That's the thing. I mean, I understand, but I'm like, man, stop. Don't nitpick it too much.
So I think that what you're saying, though, is that in a world where it's, what is it now? Like 10,000 years in the future, 5,000, whatever, in the future.
10,191.
10,191. What you're saying is that all of these people look like white people for the most part.
No.
That's not what you're saying. I thought that's what you were saying, is that in this world we're seeing people who look like humans and we only see like one particular skin tone.
Everybody's seeing the one thing and not seeing the rest of it, because you can see that in the picture when you watch it. There's multiple diversity in it.
Oh, I guess what I was getting at is that there's no really non-human aliens.
We haven't seen any non-humans yet.
Nope, not yet.
However, one of the things that I did love about this movie, I don't even know if it's something from the book that I'm not familiar with. The pet.
The weird
that's crawling.
The spider.
So the spider thing. So hear me out.
Yeah, what the F was that?
Is that totally a chair dog spider? Is that a spider chair dog? I saw that and I was like, hold on, Carlito, I have a question for you. You've never read the book. If I told you that in the Dune universe there was something called a chair dog, what do you think a chair dog is, my friend?
A chair dog?
Mm-hmm. No one say anything.
As in, I'm sitting in a chair, dog.
So
what is a chair dog?
To me, I have a picture of like a regal dog sitting in a high English chair.
Ooh, nice.
That's great. I love that.
In the Dune universe. So this, I hope if I have no other pitch than to read the entire series of Dune. In the Dune universe, there is something called a chair dog. And my friend, what a chair dog is a genetically modified dog in the shape of a chair.
It literally
you
has
sit in a chair, dog.
Oh my God.
You sit in a dog that is a chair. You sit in a chair, dog. It is a piece of furniture, dog.
Why?
That is what a chair dog is.
Because you got to come up with something after 6 books.
If nothing else, that's my pitch to read the Dune series.
Damien, I'm going to say something here
Sorry.
that's going to break your mind.
Yeah.
It's going to sound like a surprise, but
George
Lucas stole liberally from Dune. So Paul is basically Anakin Skywalker, if I were going to.
Yeah, I saw some memes going around.
It's also like a critique of the white savior. I mean, that's the point. Like, that's the point of it.
So his thing was he hated John F. Kennedy with a passion. And it was about the fear of influential leaders, like cults of personality, which when you get into the second book, Messiah, it's the deconstruction of that character, which if you watch the Dune Over Season 2 of Dune Messiah, you can hear us talk about that. But yes, there is a little bit of the white savior. I don't know if he intentionally wrote it as the white savior, but it comes off as a white savior.
Does sad boy become happy boy?
He's never happy.
No. Maybe somehow sadder, in fact.
Yeah.
All right, John. Like,
Well, hopefully we've done some of that, John.
Chair dog.
Chair
Chair
dog.
dog,
Yeah.
that's
Jen,
it.
Chair dog.
Jen just told you chair dog. What else do you want?
Chair dog.
so literally,
I
if you
can't
don't wanna
wait
read
to get to that part in the books
It's
now.
it's like in the
That's gonna be
fourth book.
amazing.
Fourth book.
It's a while.
Yeah,
So, John, if you don't want to know shit about the book, the movie fills in enough that you cannot read the book, and you're going to see a beautiful piece of cinema.
yes,
Yeah.
you will.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. Yeah.
if you like Ridley Scott, you will like this.
Hands down.
It's such a beautiful piece of cinematography, and as was mentioned earlier, just the thought put into the lighting
Oh, yeah.
of a scene.
God, man.
Like, it's the person who went to the movie with me, Marcy.
Yeah. Sorry.
Marcy, wait
spoiler
for me
alert.
so we can talk
Spoiler.
about it.
Yeah.
Is that like integral to the plot of Emperor, or
I mean, when you think about the
Oh, can you
plot of
teach a
it,
chair dog to attack? That would
Probably.
be amazing.
So, John,
like
I'm
bites your
going
butt.
to I'm
Yeah.
going to say this out loud. Like, if you're comfortable going to the theater to see it, and you have an IMAX theater near you,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
can't impress on you enough
Yeah.
to pay the money and see it that way, because that's the best way you will see
It
this
rips.
movie.
Get
Yep.
the full
Absolutely.
Totally.
And wear a mask and be careful. That's
Yeah.
honestly, like, that's other than Halloween Kills, it's the only time I've been to a movie theater in the last year and a half,
It's
Mhm.
been 2
which
years,
is weird for me.
literally.
Yeah.
Probably a little
I've
more.
seen 3. But I mean, one of them was Tenet last October, so
No
Which
bigger
it could have
Christopher
been
Nolan
Dune.
fan than him.
I gotta say, the last IMAX movie that made me feel like Dune was Interstellar. I saw it 4 times in IMAX.
Oh.
Yeah, Interstellar's a good movie.
Like just the whole
That-
the space and like how it takes up. I mean,
Dunkirk
like
and Alita
Scott
Battle
was talking
Angel.
about earlier, like my
Mhm.
chest and like everything.
Yeah.
I was like,
Just,
wow.
I love. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
music. Oh,
It puts you in it. You're inside
Yeah.
of the. Yeah.
Dunkirk, Alita Battle Angel. Other than this, were my 3 best
Ooh.
IMAX
Yeah.
experience.
yeah, Dunkirk was really good too.
I mean, as far as I'm
Really good.
concerned, getting back to the color of skin and all of that and the racial divide in this movie, didn't you find it interesting? I loved it, where it shows all of them in the desert. And they're all praying and looking in little books. Very Muslim to me
Mhm.
through that whole scene. It was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Middle Eastern, North African. That's
Yeah,
the sort of the
very,
vibe. Yeah.
Very.
And Frank Herbert, he did take a lot of that. So a lot of the words that he used were like either from Persian or
Yeah.
Muslim
Makes
descent. So I think that, like, when we think about that, like white savior, I do think that yes, this movie can be criticized that Paul is a Gary Sue and that he is a white savior, but that's the point of the book, and I think
That's the point.
that's like kind of and I think that that's one of the things that I appreciated, that the book or that the movie took out a lot of Princess Irulan's parts and gave them to Chani. So literally, like, we open up the movie with Chani saying, like, these oppressors have been here this entire time. I don't know who's going to be my next oppressor. And like, I really appreciated that.
Yeah, and pretty open about how, like, Leto talks about, basically we're going to raise an army here. Like, it's not, he's not like a super good guy. He's like a guy that's like, oh yeah, well, this might be a shitty situation we're going into, but we're going to turn it to our advantage. But it's still our advantage, right? It's not like, I mean,
and we're going to be stewards of the planet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I think
Not
there's still,
necessar-
Yeah.
I read a great review that actually like kind of digs into that, and it was like sort of praising it for having like complicated politics in that way, which I think is good. I think it's complicated. I think you got to embrace that. It's not Star Wars. That's not what George Lucas stole.
No.
He stole a vibe, but he
Yep. didn't
didn't steal the
Catman?
themes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I also adored Stilgar. Javier Bardem.
Oh yeah,
Stilgar
yeah.
was a great
Loved it.
casting. He
That
was
was
kind of
great.
pulling a little Anton Chigurh from No Country for
yeah.
Old Men.
I was thinking of that as a little game you could play, as like, okay, could you take these actors like other roles and just replace them? Because I was like,
Back off, you
Rebecca
dogs. You didn't
Rebecca
tell me,
Ferguson-
woman, you knew the weirding way.
yeah, because Rebecca Ferguson could still be just Elsa from Mission Impossible. I think Javier Bardem could just be Chigurh, in there, and you keep it. And like I said, I think on our the last show, Timothy Chalamet is just being his character from Lady Bird in this movie, where he's just like, yeah, I know stuff, I'm cool, you know.
It was a brilliant casting though, because like he has that quiet reservation that Stilgar has, where like he's not overstated, like he's not a man of a lot of words.
Absolutely, yeah. Great casting.
And he kind of has a lazy eye a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he has a face. He has a unique face.
Yeah, like
and
pretty much.
But it's an intense face too.
The fight with Jamis too, where he's like, why is he playing with him? And she's like, he's never killed a man before.
Yeah.
And they added that in, and there's certain little things from the book that they added that I adored that they added, because to me they were important. Jessica bitching at him about his pitch after he saves her also was just like a bit of like mom power.
That's just mom energy right there. That's just like, I told you.
Told you not to.
Told you. Yeah.
Well, let's fuck this whole thing up.
And I also caught it on the way out of when Paul's kind of staring down Chani walking in front of him. She has the disapproving mom look that in the book she says vocally, but not.
Oh yeah.
Or internally, like she's just like, we're going out to the desert. Like I want to not be on this planet, but
yeah. Absolutely.
He's got a spice allergy, according to Dr. Yue.
He's just a sensitive boy.
He's allergic to tap water.
Yeah, they make him really. What's the word? Very
sad boy.
Naive.
There is like he has an assured naivete, maybe if you would, right? He like he seems like he knows a lot because he watched a bunch of YouTube videos about how to deal with Arrakis, and then he's like, I know.
Though.
Right, he got that. I mean, he did get that right. Like, but that's how I figured out how to install my garbage disposal. But that doesn't mean I can start a garbage disposal business.
I have faith in you.
Oh, thanks. Well, guys.
I mean, like, come on over, man.
Call me if you need a garbage disposal.
Awesome, poor Mike. Yep.
Dang, I want to watch it again tomorrow.
Poor Mike's been with us since the beginning of the Dune Over, so I appreciate you going and watching it and following along. That's great that you liked it, and like I can't wait for the next one. Like I don't know when it's gonna come out.
We have to wait.
So he has the script written and the storyboards done. Like he said, he's ready to start today if they greenlight it.
Yeah, I gotta feel like there's a lot of post production, but it just seems like he got that done quick for what it is. He turned it around. Yeah, like turning that around.
Come out last year, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah, it's been in a can for a year. No, a year.
Longer than that. I don't know.
Longer than that. Almost a year and a half.
Yeah. Notice how I kind of like really quick, kind of jumped over some of those areas really quick.
I didn't think. I don't know. I disagree with everybody that says Blade Runner 2049 was badly paced. I love every dang minute of that movie. What's that?
Who says it's a bad movie?
No, badly paced.
Ridley Scott came out and said
it was a little slow or whatever. I'm like, nah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I loved it.
I did too, but like it's a beautiful movie. Like
it is a movie.
So was it 2020 December that originally Dune was supposed to come out? Because I remember like we were trying to slam book one done before it came out, and then it got pushed back, then it got pushed back again.
And then I was like, yes, I can read them all before it comes out. And then here we are. Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Like, I saw the Jamis fight going to happen. I was like, oh, God, here we go. Because I did community theater reenaction of the fight on one of our episodes of the Dune Over. It was just Jen and I. And it was soap opera quality at best.
I really hope. I was trying to obviously like first watching it, and I know that we've been speculating here about like where the first movie was going to end, because we knew that it wasn't going to be the whole book.
I knew it was somewhere with the worm.
Yep. We knew that it was gonna so we were trying to figure out where it was gonna end. But one thing that I've been trying to think is, where is the next movie going to start? And I really hope that they do the funeral rites for James.
Yes, I hope so too. That's one of my favorite parts of the book.
I hope that they don't leave that out.
It's a lot of
I
heroin in there.
I spilled water for the dead when I read that.
Yeah.
For sure.
And
I'm not too old. I could be a great wife. Sarah.
I'm still spry. I'm still DTF, Paul.
one
Even though you're like
my favorite
13.
moment
Wow.
too in this- my other favorite movie part in this movie too is when him and his mother are running past, trying to get away from the sandworm.
Yeah.
And the sandworm just comes up. No
Yes.
sound. No sound. Just
just
silence. And
Yeah,
the thing is
totally.
just.
Yeah.
It was.
And
Heart was pounding out on my chest.
It reminded me of Jaws.
Mm.
It did.
Like when he's throwing the chum in and it just like
the
bursts.
first time it pops
Yeah.
up, where you're just like,
You're just
holy
silent.
shit.
Bruce
Total
pops up.
silence.
I think it was, to me, like that scene or those scenes, like whenever the sandworm comes up and is quiet, is very reminiscent of whenever the Fremen are in the dirt
Yep.
and
Mhm.
they're hiding from their enemies
Yeah.
and they come up out of the dirt, like,
Yep.
Totally.
because
I
that's
also-
what they would do, is that they would mirror the sandworm.
I also like that Duncan kind of early on goes, oh no, they fight like devils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you see, like, when the Sardaukar come down and they jump out of the sand and start fighting them and take a couple of them out.
Yep.
There was so much good in this movie that, like, I can overlook the little quibbles I have.
Oh
And
yeah.
usually-
Yeah.
And those quibbles are because of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
100%.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, because like my main quibble, and like Jen, you and I talked about this a little bit, but like they remove the banquet scene. It's just gone. And they remove I feel like that also sort of contributes to truncating Jessica's story a little bit.
The
where-
Thufir Jessica
Mhm.
kind of heat
Mhm.
shit, like, kind of went
Yeah.
away, but
Yeah.
And
But yeah.
the entire time in the book, Jessica senses that there's a traitor. Like, that's kind of part of it, and part of them, like, knowing that they're walking into a trap. They know that there's a traitor, and then it's like, well, we know that there's a traitor. Who is it? We think that it's Jessica. Like, the only moment when we even know that there's a traitor is literally when it's happening, because then Thufir Hawat, and he doesn't say the classic line, "Remember the tooth."
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that.
Yep.
Yeah. The tooth. I rewatched I rewatched the lynch scene of that with
I thought
what's his
the
name from
shout
Conan
out
movie?
to the book fans though was every scene with the bullhead, because of how much
absolutely
in the book where Jessica's like, "You're not really putting that over the dinner table, are you?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I
I
sure am.
I totally felt that too. Yeah,
Sid!
absolutely.
Sid, okay, I
The
need
tooth.
Sid in the comments. I need Sid to
Let's talk about
like.
naked Oscar Isaac more.
Let's talk about Oscar Isaac hanging dong.
It's just that, like, not that I don't work for HBO, I promise, but if you've been watching Scenes
That's
from a
gonna be the
Marriage,
director's cut.
yeah, if you've been watching Scenes from a
Helicopter to the
Marriage,
table.
which I can't like recommend Scenes from a Marriage, but you also see his dong in that. So if you're really into seeing Oscar Isaac's
I
dong,
heard Scenes from a Marriage is a very good movie.
I heard Scenes of a Marriage was about something completely different, and now I just know
let's
that.
do this Scenes from a Marriage over, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's have
Okay,
that.
I guess that's the answer.
There you go. That's an endorsement.
So, like, when Sid found out that Oscar Isaac was playing not only Moon Knight, but Leto Atreides, her two loves, she literally had a Twitter meltdown of, like, is this real life or is this a simulation?
Oh yeah, no filing cabinets.
I love that there
Is there
was
a
a
cabinet?
toy of the bull.
Because
and
then that
Yeah,
reminded
those
me
are
of
toy.
Blade Runner.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, little
Yeah.
unicorn. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
There was no file cabinet, unfortunately.
No.
Yeah, no
I
filing
think
Saw some
I think
shelves.
that there were some. I think that we did see some shelves. I think that there were some very hidden filing cabinets
Maybe
in
they had those,
the
like,
archaeological
lots
center.
of old
Those folder
books.
things. Yeah, they had those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I take it there's a lot of filing cabinets in the book.
No,
So many.
no. There's one. There's one, and it's in the.
Description.
Yeah.
It's literally so they go into the desert. They go into one of these sieges,
It has
and there's a filing cabinet in like Stilgar's office.
Yeah.
What the fuck, Frank Herbert?
with dead bats in it.
Yeah.
With
That's
dead
also one of
bats.
those squeezy things where like the ears come out. You know what I mean? That you squeeze it and it's like eyes pop out and its ears pop out. It's one of those.
So a weird thing when you read the books, he will weirdly go into way too much description about random shit in a house.
Yeah.
Filing cabinets. And then the
Rugs.
second book, rugs. The
Home
second book,
improvement.
it's all about tile.
Yeah, tile.
with
everywhere.
Tile.
creatures.
So much tile.
I feel like Robert's got to be on the Dune Over now. I didn't realize he was such a super fan. We're doing Children of Dune for season 3.
I'll be honest. I thought it was okay. The
Children of Dune
was okay. It was okay. I'll be honest. It was. Okay.
It's what it leads to is what's more.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like Children of Dune's like the action movie for me, but maybe it's just my remembering.
3
of it.
Fast, 3 Furious.
Yeah, it's Dune, but you turn the E around and it's a 3.
I 100% noticed Paul's headboard.
Here's the thing. Hold on. It's about family.
Oh yeah, good call.
Vin Diesel's going to be
True.
So I didn't
Diesel
notice
is the
Paul's
Duncan Idaho
headboard.
Gola.
I must have missed that part.
Which part?
Paul's headboard. I missed that.
So in the book, they go into it's a room that would appeal to.
Oh wait,
young
nope,
man
never mind. I'm seeing it. So yeah,
with the fish and everything
Gotcha.
else, and the Hunter Seeker, which the Hunter Seeker now we know what one looks like because we kept talking about that in the Dune Over. What does it look like?
that was
And it
pretty
looks
cool.
exactly like that thing from not Fan Menace, Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, George Lucas strikes again.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So according to Denis Villeneuve,
Ford.
what was shown on the screen is the director's cut.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It is.
Yeah, he can make a tight movie. That's like I appreciate that.
It was
I mean,
the knock on him though prior that he couldn't make a tight movie.
Well, Sicario's too short.
get it.
Yeah, right.
Very well done.
That was the thing about Blade Runner. They said it was too long, just
Mm-mm.
boring. And Arrival also got the it's boring
Nope.
and too long.
Because no one understood it.
Boo.
That
Yeah,
was an
because
awesome movie.
it is
It was
Haters.
fantastic.
So good.
Haters gonna hate.
Yeah,
Oh man, it was so good.
I had.
I've also heard the rumor that there's a 4-hour cut of this movie.
there's
Release the Snyder cut.
yeah. First. Yeah.
It's more drab.
I wish they would have just done that first. If they
And
would
there's
have
more-
done that first, it would have been
there's
so
more-
much better.
There's more Leonard Cohen in it this time.
it's the 5th mix of Hallelujah.
Yeah,
With a little
like,
bit of
oh,
Jeff Buckley's
God.
grace at the end.
Yeah, they get Billie Eilish to do Hallelujah, which I actually probably sound pretty okay. I don't know.
Oh,
Might
wait,
sound
did
okay.
she?
Yeah, right.
I don't know. Maybe
Oh.
everybody's covered that. I
Who
think you have
hasn't?
to.
Yeah.
You have to cover
Yeah.
it at some point.
As long as it's not Christina Aguilera.
Oh,
I would
Like-
I would go for it.
Yeah, she might.
I
crush
don't
it, you
need all
know.
the extra notes in there.
it'll be Adele.
What?
Ooh.
I think you need to go to the other way with it. You need to have an over the top version of Hallelujah. With Hallelujah,
I want
Look, you're
Britney
right.
Spears' toxic version of Hallelujah.
Megan Thee
Take that.
Stallion doing
Hallelujah.
doing different whack.
We'd see
Yeah.
Lana Del Rey.
Sure.
Oh.
Yeah. She'd probably
Yeah,
crush it.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah,
the
she would
voice,
crush
I love
it.
her voice.
Yeah.
The summertime sadness would be sad boy sadness.
Yes.
And like, if it sounds like we're kind of like cutting on this movie, we're not. We love it.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Again,
No,
like
it's great.
you have to take with the good with a little bit of bad.
Mhm.
And again, Carlito not knowing the gist of the books, enjoying this, that's a win.
Yep.
Can I ask you to Carlito again, because since you're like sort of new to this, Duncan, Idaho, I feel like we haven't really talked enough about Duncan, and I kind of feel like I got maybe like a different vibe of Duncan than maybe I had in the book, just maybe what I pictured. But like,
Really?
how did you feel about him as just like an action character in this, or just like a character in this movie? Like, I think you mentioned that you liked him a lot, but
Yeah, and I was gonna say, someone had mentioned Momoa earlier. I wanted to kind of bring it back that it surprised me how much I like that character, because I kind of am tired of the. I don't want to, because Momoa is a great guy, and beyond that, he's a good actor too. I'm kind of tired of a little bit of typecasting he's getting on some stuff.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
And maybe that's just what he's accepting. I don't know, but
all right, my man.
Going into this, I was expecting like a little more Aquaman, so I wasn't too thrilled about his character. But coming out of it, I freaking loved his character. So
I think to that point, one of the things that I appreciated about Paul was that there was, and I apologize if you can hear my cat screaming in the background, but one of the things that I appreciated about Paul in this movie is he runs towards these characters and just absolutely like bear hugs them.
I love that, yeah.
He sees Gurney and he like bear hugs them and sees Thufir, Hawat, and just runs up. Like, I loved that.
Yeah. I came to really, in this, the character that stood out to me that like in a big way from the books that I didn't realize I liked so much was Thufir. I loved the way that he played Thufir in this. Like
the eye rolling with the computation.
Yeah, I loved
that
exactly
moment.
That touch, just that little touch was awesome because I like that whole thing about there's
when
not
he
really
rolled his eyes to the top of his head.
Yeah.
He's yeah, I got that too. Right.
So
it's not really magic, and the technology is like human potential, and so him like sort of just visualizing that in that small way was just so cool.
I want to explain that because I feel like not necessarily that it's confusing, but like for someone who hasn't read the books, the reason why Thufir Hawat like exist and did that is because there are no computers in this. The Butlerian Jihad was this whole war against computers. So the only computers that exist are human computers who think and have been trained to do these like really fast computational things. So that's why you see Thufir Hawat do that like so for those of you who haven't read the book, like that's why, because it's a huge part of the universe. Sorry, just had to.
To answer Sid, Paul's gonna give water in the next part, I believe, if they do the funeral.
I think
hope
they do the funeral rites.
Which in one of the dreams, they're like, you'll lose your name when you kill.
Muad'Dib.
Usul.
Usul. Oh yeah, Usul. He becomes Usul.
And we saw the little mouse. I saw that, and I am like,
that was cool too.
I've literally been trying to figure out on my arm where I want to get a little mouse. Like, I think I want to get like a little mouse tattoo right here. Yeah.
Cool.
Also, a small Jason Momoa story. Our friend Gambit, who does Ink Panels graphic novel book club with us, he's an artist, does artist alleys at conventions, and he did a Jason Momoa's Aquaman little poster one day while he was at the con. Jason Momoa came up to him and was like, I want to buy it from you.
Nice.
And
That's
he
awesome.
ended up just giving it to him, but he was just like, that dude just came out of nowhere and was like, this is awesome. Like, let me buy it.
He seems
Momoa
like a nice
is
guy.
the coolest dude in real life.
Seems like a cool
I
guy.
think he's cooler in real life than on camera, but
Me too.
Right on.
I mean, the fact he's been married to Lisa Bonet for
Yep.
a good 15 years at least.
His heart.
Wow.
His heartbeat crush. He married.
Yep.
Yep. That's awesome.
He realized his dream.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's cool too because they have two different personalities. You know, he's a big meat eater and everything else, and she's a vegan. Hey.
And they're very kind of like cool. They're
He
not
eats
out in the public
vegan.
very much.
Hey.
So to go into Paul's dreams, Paul's dreams, if you go into the books, it always says like what could seem like a lifetime to him is minutes in real time.
Yeah, right.
So he's seeing like a million different timelines at one point. And he starts trying to choose the best option for that timeline. And it can get a little convoluted, especially in Dune Messiah, where they start really breaking it down when it starts getting cloudy. And Alia starts getting high on spice and telling Duncan, Gola, hate what's going on. So basically, it's like if you were watching like NFL Red Zone and you're trying to focus on like the one game you want to watch.
Yeah, right. Who's at the 5?
Duncan was weirdly, you don't get the gist that he's so important to him in the books.
Yeah.
But in this, very important. Where Gurney, I felt the books was more important. But like to the point where Paul knows Gurney's footsteps when he walks into a room.
Totally. I kind of felt that too. Yeah.
I like that they added that where he's like, Gurney, I know your footsteps. And they have that, like, are you in the, I'm not in the mood. He's like, well, you better get in the mood.
But do we know that it's for lovemaking and cattle? We don't know that according to this movie.
True, we don't. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I want to ask you guys, since you've read the books, I thought the casting and the acting was just top notch on everybody, but I didn't have preconceptions or images of what these characters were going to be like or whatever. So what like characters stood out for you as maybe like the biggest difference, but not like necessarily in a bad way?
Jessica for me.
Jessica.
Yeah, I think Jessica in a good way for me, but it was definitely
She's more
different.
emotional in the book. She's very stoic and like you
That's-
wouldn't know when she's bothered, because if she is bothered,
See, that's
it's
what I
all
liked
internal
about her in the
monologue.
book compared to this. Here, she seemed to have, like, when she was having the expressions of her face and she's waiting, like, as an example, when he's doing his trial, his test with the Jesuit mother, and she's behind there, and we were just talking about it. The whole thing of doubt on her face, that was kind of bothering me. I was just like, that exactly what Jen said. I totally agree with that. And that was a little bit different for me than the book.
I think they had to express it since they didn't want to do the inner monologue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I get that they left that out. So it's not as bad as like how much the inner dialogue takes you out of the movie, I guess. The character, the character. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go, what you were saying. Go for it.
Oh, the character I think that stood out the most for me was definitely Liet Kynes, because in the book she is a white man in the book, but in so in the movie, black woman, which I think was a fantastic change, and in the book, the person who's supposed to be there, who is like the something of the change, the herald of the change, or whatever it may be. You really don't know who Liet Kynes is, and
Judge
like
of the
you know that like there's someone kind of behind the scenes who's doing some stuff, but you don't know who they are. And so like the big reveal in the book of Liet Kynes is a little bit more, I think. Maybe that was my impression. Where in this, I thought that Liet Kynes had so much better of a presence, and 100% in the book she doesn't have that moment where she like flips out the things to start riding the sandworm. Like that's not a moment that she has in the books, but she is such a crucial character that I want to see. I really hope that because they did, right now they're doing Dune House Atreides, which is a comic book that's like a prequel to Dune. I really hope that they give Liet Kynes. They need to do Dune House Kynes, because I need this whole backstory.
So, Damien, they kind of gave an out on that with Leto stomping on the ground in the miniseries, which, I mean, he's superhuman at that point.
Right.
But as Paul showed in the movie, drum sand.
Right.
Where just the step sounds like a drum.
Yeah.
So that's the
swiping
throwaway for that.
Walking on the sand.
And also to Heather's thing about underdeveloped. So Carlito and I both have a lot of uncles. If you're Italian in any way, you have a lot of uncles, and a lot of them are named Sal. So, like, Paul has a lot of uncles in his little house. So that's what I'm gonna call it.
That's Uncle basically June. What I thought of him as, like the cool guy's guy uncle, you know.
It's like the opposite of Uncle Junior.
Yeah. Definitely.
Like, he's like a Polly Walnuts, but not.
Yeah, he's a Polly Walnuts. He's maybe a Sill. He just doesn't run a strip club. But he would if he could. Duncan, Idaho would run a strip club.
Yeah, he would.
For sure.
Or as we call him in the book, Drunken Idaho, because Duncan starts going after all the natives.
Yeah, oh boy.
No, that's fair, Heather. I think, I mean, I think you made a good point.
Totally.
Yeah, he's underdeveloped because he wasn't going to stay long.
Right.
Same in the book. He's gone shorter. He's gone quicker in the book.
And I think it, like the way they do it, you know, it sets it up for what, because I know Villeneuve wants to get to Messiah, right? And so you see this happen, and Momoa is unforgettable anyway, right? So like
Right.
you might, because that was the thing that I sort of had to, like, when we were kind of going through the reread, like revisiting, like, oh yeah, he like laid down his life in this like dramatic way for Paul, and when it's kind of stretched out over 800 pages, you know, maybe you just feel it a little differently. So, but yeah, I could see that.
I can't get over like how happy I was with this, because I walked out and I think I sat outside of the theater with Marcy for about a half hour just talking about like, I can't believe they did it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Totally.
did.
Which is weird to walk out of a movie saying that, but I was like,
Satisfied. Oh, satisfied.
Yeah. My partner had to put up with me when we got home. He had to be up early the next day. And I am literally up like a madman. Like, okay, so you saw the part, like, did you notice the part with like the bull? Okay, so here's why that bull's important. And okay, so in, you know, the moment, like when he's in the tent and like he's like, I see the skull of my father, like that's a really big part in the second book. Like and I'm just like, that part when they're on the like the grave in Caladan and he's visiting his father's grave. There's this moment in the second book where he's literally flying, like, bless.
I knew there's something was going on, because like for you to text me at 1 a.m. my time while I'm at work, and it's going, so I saw it, and I'm like, okay, like thumbs up, thumbs down, like where are we at here?
I didn't want to like to be like it's so good, it's the most beautiful movie that I've ever seen, like it does everything justice, because then I felt like even that could cloud how you go into the movie as well. So
Scott saw it a week before us, so how do you
I
think
know.
I did. Yeah, that's why I was trying to be like, because I didn't want to like set expectations.
Yep.
And I also thought that the spoilers were, you know, what's left out, where does it cut off, like for people that have seen it, because like obviously you can't spoil like the whole story, but you can spoil the treatment of it. And so I didn't want to do that. And that's why.
There were a couple of things I worried that could go wrong with it. Jessica was one that if the actress didn't hit those notes correctly, which they made the choice of, hey, you know, she's going to be emotional in this.
Yeah.
Which getting rid of the inner monologue made sense.
Yeah.
See, I think that like he did it good though, because to me she didn't seem emotional about anybody else except for her son. That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
sure.
even her husband and like everything, like it was just Paul.
Well, even when Bene Gesserit lands, she's kind of like shaking.
Yeah.
The Reverend Mother trained her and scared the shit out of her.
The Reverend Mother scared the shit out of her, like.
Right.
But there's those moments, like in the book. One of the other things that I think gets lost in the translation of the movie is that there's these moments with Jessica where she understands that the prophecy about Paul has been laid there by the Bene Gesserit. Like it's not actually a prophecy that is like a prophecy. It's actually the Bene Gesserit, like that's part of their control, is that they laid the plans on the planet.
Right.
So one of the things that she does is this moment with the Shadout Mapes, who ends up being like housekeeper or whatever. There's this inner monologue that Jessica has where she meets Shadout Mapes, and she's like, in order for me to tell this person that I know with the prophecy, she's like, there's this call and response that's supposed to happen between the two characters, where Shadout Mapes says one thing and then Jessica says another, and it's a back and forth that basically proves the prophecy. And so there's these moments where Jessica's inner monologue is like, well, shit, she just said this one thing. I know that there's like something that I'm supposed to say. There's this like word that I'm supposed to use, or this verbiage, and I'm kind of fucking it up right now. But the character Shadout Mapes wants this so bad that she's like
giving hints
and like understands. So I think that that's something that is also lost in that, not using the inner monologue, but it worked out perfectly because you don't need to know all that in the movie. It's just one of those obsessive things that I'm just like, there's supposed to be a call and response. Sorry.
That reminds me.
Put out there. Sorry. There is people complaining about the voices Paul's hearing.
Yeah.
What they are.
Oh.
And so the big thing about the Bene Gesserit with their prescience, they can hear past lives. So at this point, Paul can only hear the female parts of past lives. So that's why you keep hearing female voices.
Right.
The Bene Gesserit cannot hear anything outside of female voices in the lineage, and that's this like blank spot.
Are they all female?
Yes.
Up until
Bene
Paul,
Gesserit,
basically?
Yeah, the Bene Gesserit are all female,
So that's why they're always like, you fucked up having a son.
Right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. That's why he's like, made me a freak.
Paul is the anomaly
That
they hate. Because
they basically made a
male.
Bene Gesserit man.
Because it's gone to a man.
And so the Bene Gesserit are so powerful and they're trained. So part of their training is that they get control. They have like super control over their body and like their nervous system and all of this. So in their moments of fear or their moments of nervousness, they recite that litany against fear. But what they can also do is they also notice it in other people, but they have such control over their bodies that that's something that's a little bit lost too, because Jessica controls her body and she makes it so that she has a son, like in the womb.
The Duke wanted a son. Because
the Duke wanted a son, and so all the Bene Gesserit, they can control those things, and she fucked up. She's basically the whole thing.
Just like a reptile snake, like a snake. Do you realize a boa constrictor can do this? They can actually predict the sex of their babies.
Yeah, see, that's what I was getting at. Is like it's not magic; it's like human potential, right? In this story, and that's what's so cool about the universe. One thing you said did remind me. I wanted to give a shout out, Mapes. That was my dumb joke from. Twitter.
When she started going,
the
knife over, she started screaming. I was like,
yeah.
But this is how I imagined she'd be having this emotional breakdown because she thinks this
is... right. Isan al-Gaib. Right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I know, and that's, again, like, that's very truncated, like you were saying, Jen, but, like, it still worked. Like, it's still, like, you get slammed into it, and then you get the point, and so it's not really, like, I saw a lot of complaining about just, like, the things that were missing and blah, 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 and I'm like, well, I missed those, but again, the narrative's tight, and they just move right through it. And it's
was there anything that wasn't in there that you either wanted to or kind of hoped that would be?
Oscar Isaac's dick was not in the book, so that's one thing.
So in the book, they talk more about the seeding program of the genetic program of the Bene Gesserit, how they're trying to make their super Christ.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, their Messiah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That
and the other Harkonnen we don't meet, and we don't meet
Fade.
The Emperor.
Yep.
Yes. No Fade, no Emperor.
Casting for the Emperor. I don't know if I've said this before, but I heard someone say that Little Nas X should be the Emperor, and that is the only Emperor that I will accept from here on out.
Shit,
I need to see Little Nas X as the Emperor.
Wow. That would be cool. Well, who plays Irulan? Who plays Irulan then?
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Because they have to be younger than him.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
He's not an old man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anya Taylor-Joy is about 25.
I like Anya Taylor-Joy, but if you're the same age as your dad, that's kind of weird.
But the dad looks it looks younger in the book because of Spice.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, okay, sure. Okay, we can sell this. Yeah. We're good. We're good.
That's gonna be me in the movie.
Yeah. No, shut up.
See how he looks.
Little Nas X is actually 23 and she's 25. This doesn't add up.
So what? Vin Diesel's gonna be Fade because everybody's got bald heads.
Vin Diesel is Fade. Who is or is a Little Nas X Fade? I mean, you don't want to see that happen to him though. I don't want to see that happen to him. So he can't be Fade.
Going back to the Bene Gesserit, I'm worried about Paul.
Oh yeah, you should be.
I'm concerned now, especially now that you kind of explained a little bit more about it.
Welcome to being concerned about Paul. That's what being
a sad boy.
Jessica does some worse things.
And then I don't want to because I don't want to give it away.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
I'm not away. I'm not telling Carlito.
Nope.
We'll not say.
And
don't worry, I'll read it here soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotta read it, dude. It's so
and then I'll be hitting all of you guys up.
Yes.
What about
Jessica's
this?
pregnancy is a huge thing in this book. I'll just tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
They announced it in the movie, so it's a huge thing.
Oh,
I kind of figured that a little bit.
That's who I really want to know. Who's gonna play?
Oh,
You know,
Honey Boo Boo.
Yeah, Honey Boo.
Boo Boo. Come on, man. Yeah, no.
Did we mention it? I don't know if we mentioned it the last time, but I think that I would really love to see the girl who played Arya Stark. Like,
Oh yeah,
I
Maisie
see
Williams.
the girl Maisie Williams. I see her as Dune Messiah. Aaliyah.
Ganima? Like she? Oh,
No,
yes. Oh, I like it. I like that.
I like
That's a
that
solid.
too, Jen.
I like that. Yeah, love it.
So
I wanna
She
know
would-
more
she
about
would-
this spike.
she would
Guys,
make a.
I apologize, but I do have to go. I love you guys.
Oh no.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming
No,
on.
Robert.
Thank you for being here,
Robert.
Rob.
Nice meeting you
You guys
virtually.
were awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Peace out,
Happy
love you
belated
guys.
birthday, also.
Thank
Yeah,
you
happy
very
birthday.
much, you guys. It was wonderful, Dan. Thank you.
Oh, thank you also for coming
No,
on, man. I
absolutely,
appreciate it.
brother.
Go subscribe to him. His info
Yeah.
is
Heck yeah.
down below. And
Do it.
was it every Friday or Saturday you do your
Actually,
show?
tonight at midnight.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
Maybe
So
we
it's
have
just
a
an hour.
interesting show tonight. I think Jen should come check us out. I want to hear.
Oh my
input.
God, it's already past my bedtime. That's why I can never. That's why I
So
can
late.
yeah.
It's gonna be a little
It is 8
controversial
o'clock
tonight,
here.
just so you guys know. It'll be a little
Ah.
controversial, but that's what I've been wanting to get some stuff off my chest for 2 years. I've
I
been
like
holding it in.
controversy.
Just gonna let it go. We're gonna sell some comic books, but it's gonna be my special guest for tonight, Chris Large.
Nice.
Just come check it out. Open-minded. Just be open-minded. Don't be closed-minded. Do your own research. That's all I'm gonna ask you to do.
Is it an open or closed show?
Always.
It's a closed show. It's a guest. We're doing a Q&A on him. Got 3 people that are going to be co-hosting tonight. So I appreciate it, you guys. I love you.
Thank you, Robert.
Love you too.
Have a good night, man.
Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers.
I don't know where to go with that.
Yeah.
Maisie
Um,
Williams. Oh,
yes,
Ollie has
Maisie
a knife.
Maisie Williams.
She would make a meal of
interesting.
that. Yeah.
It's weird now. The more I think about it, Anya Taylor-Joy as Irulan would be kind of an awesome casting.
I think that's perfect. Because I had that same thought, but I think she would crush it. I think. Yeah.
There is also the girl who was in It Follows, Micah Monroe. She was also in The Guest, who I am a huge fan of, and she has blonde hair, a little bit curly, but I'd still be down. I'm just going through Dan's blonde crushes now at this point.
I think you have a type.
Who else do I have a crush on?
Dan's
Horror
got a
movie
type.
blondes.
One of the
Um,
Haim sisters maybe could play. Maybe Danielle Haim could play.
By the way,
Play her.
I saw the trailer for that new movie with one of the Haim sisters
Yeah,
in
with
it.
Alana. Yeah. Licorice Pizza.
The fucking fact that I realized that it's about one of it John Peters. Bradley Cooper is playing John fucking Peters in it.
I don't know. I don't know
Okay,
about John Peters.
John Peters is the
Yeah.
producer who was dating Barbara Streisand.
Oh, right. Yeah, because he
And
says
he
that
became
in
a
the trailer.
producer.
Yeah.
He was infamously behind the Superman Lives movie with Kevin Smith.
Oh God, did he want a spider in it? Is it that guy?
Yes.
Oh, that-
Yes, it's that guy who also said that he'd been in like street fights constantly,
Oh.
and was also behind Wild Wild West. Well, Bradley Cooper's playing this guy in the movie.
Awesome.
And he like breaks a window in the trailer. I was like, holy shit.
Amazing.
I need a super cut of just those scenes of Bradley Cooper as this guy. I don't need to see the rest of the movie. But also the son of oh my god. The actor that died, he was in Mission Impossible 3. I'm gonna
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Philip Seymour
Yeah,
Hoffman's
Hoffman.
son's in it.
Oh,
I'm gonna
Oh,
hurt
wow.
her. I'm gonna hurt her a lot. All right.
Yeah.
He was also in that weird cult movie with.
The Master. He's in
Yes.
the Master. Yeah. Mhm. Well, he's in a lot of PTA movies, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he's in Magnolia. He's in Hard 8.
I
right?
went back and watched Boogie Nights. Not
He's in Boogie Nights. He's great in Boogie Nights. He's Scotty.
John C. Reilly is so
I love John C. Reilly.
insane
John C.
in
Reilly's
that
great.
movie. So yes, honestly, like Dune made me happy in so many ways
Yeah,
that I did
great.
not think it was gonna do, because I was being guardedly up. Like
Mhm.
I didn't want to get my feelings hurt watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
I-
exposing your fandom to the
Mhm.
cruelties of capitalism and judgment by others.
So it was kind of like the Star Wars prequels to me, where like I wanted it so bad,
Yeah.
that I went to see it and I was like, maybe I was in a bad mood. Let me watch it again.
Yeah.
And this didn't have that. This was like I wanted to watch it again because I fucking loved every
Yeah, because
part
it was
of
good. Yeah.
And again,
Good flick.
I had quibbles, but it was
Yeah.
book reader quibbles, and
Right.
that shit I got over real quick. Gore's here.
Yeah, Gore is here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes,
I hope it's enough.
It's already. It hasn't
yeah.
been officially announced,
Yeah,
but I
I think
believe
that-
my contacts has been
Yeah.
given the go ahead. So
And I feel like the new economics of this, of like, okay, well, if you want to get subscriptions up, just locking down, this IP mindset, like let's get the IP, we have it, we have a pretty awesome movie, like maybe it didn't make, Avengers money, but it made enough
Mhm.
money and it drives enough subscriptions that
It was
we'll just do it.
$410 million to break even.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
what it had to do. So I imagine it's going to come out in physical.
Yeah.
Within 60 days.
I'll buy it.
I don't think it'll come out in physical within 60 days, and the only reason is because of supply chain issues.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, speaking of, because my Scream 4K was a fucking disaster,
Yeah.
which now I got the 4K Steelbook.
Ooh,
who's
But
Count
Steelbook
Henry?
ones are neat.
I didn't get the regular edition that they pushed back till November 14th, which is the complete opposite.
Oh yeah, Fenring.
God, I still want to find out who these characters are. And
Oh, yeah.
their backstory.
So
And
Count
I just wanna
Fenring talks with
dive
a
in,
weird
like, right
speech
now.
impediment where he acts like an idiot. He always like
With this version.
It's Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
that'd be perfect.
Yes.
Finds a way.
Yes, love it.
Yeah.
Goldblum,
He's,
Goldblum,
hot
and
rock.
and
He's
you
just
could have
playing the
Laura Dern.
Grandmaster from
Yeah, he's
Thor
just playing
Ragnarok.
exactly. Could Laura Dern be what's her name?
Oh my god, yes!
Yeah,
Holy shit, yes. Laura Dern be Lady Fenring.
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
All right.
Seal of approval.
WB right here. Listen to this guy.
No, Laura Dern was like
it's all free. WB, just
she hasn't been in a lot lately, to be honest.
She's
And
been
I
Big Little
think
Lies.
she could.
She's
pull
gonna make
off.
it back in the new Jurassic Park movie.
Who's What was the girl in True Romance?
Oh, Patricia Arquette.
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't seen her in a while.
She's in Boyhood.
She's
She
like
was in Boyhood for
semi-retired.
20 years. She might be. Yeah.
Now I need someone who could run with Jeff Goldblum though. Like Laura Dern's good, but
Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I don't know if her vibe is like fits into a Denis Villeneuve movie, but
so in the
it could
newest
be
House
fun.
Atreides book, it's a brunette.
Oh, okay, well there you go.
It's a brunette.
So, yeah.
My type.
Ooh, I got it. And it's someone who probably would never be in it, but oh god, fuck, I forgot her last name now. The one from A Quiet Place.
Oh, Emily Blunt.
Yes,
She's not brunette though.
yes, she is. Well, she's lightened her hair, but at least
She's like dishwater brunette.
She's great. That's what she is.
She is great though.
She's great. Yeah.
Bye, Sid. And your blade chip and shatter as well.
Oh yes.
Yeah, Emily Blunt would be kind of good. I would also take someone who could be super bitchy if need be, and Anne Hathaway hasn't been around in a while.
Shit, what's her name? Who plays Cersei Lannister?
Holy
Oh,
shit!
Lena
yeah.
Headey.
Oh,
Lena Headey. Yeah.
If anybody was ever
Lena
built to be a
Headey.
Bene Gesserit,
Oh yeah, Lena Headey would be amazing.
Yeah, and like seeing her as Cersei Lannister, but then also seeing her in Judge Dredd.
oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, she's great in Judge Dredd. Fun
Mhm.
fact: 2 Game of Thrones actresses have been Sarah Connor.
It's true.
Really?
Yeah, because Lena Headey played Sarah Connor in the Sarah Connor Chronicles, and then our girl Daenerys was Sarah Connor in the bad one that we don't talk about.
Right.
Do you think that Daenerys, the actress who plays Daenerys, could have a role in Dune? Could she play Princess Irulan?
Oh,
She
sure.
Yeah.
Dan
She
apparently
played
thinks so.
She can do whatever she wants.
Yeah, hell yeah, she can.
Listen, I got
Except
to meet
co-write a comic book called Mother of Madness.
Oh boy,
Crash.
get to
Sorry.
the show. Come on.
I got to meet her at one of the Comic Cons, and my God, she has a magnetic smile. Like I couldn't resist.
I
her.
could have told you that without meeting her at a con, but
oh no,
Yeah.
I hated her character, and then I got around her and I saw the smile. I was like, yeah, you're the best.
Just melted and
Wow.
I did seriously
you don't like girl bosses. That's what you're saying. No shit.
I almost thought the Reverend Mother easily could have been played by Diana. Oh God, the actress from Game of Thrones who played the Queen of Thorns.
Oh yeah, she would have been great. Mhm.
But she passed away, right?
She
Yeah.
died though, didn't she?
She
Did
passed.
she? Oh,
Mhm.
Diana Riggs. Oh my God, she just had such spice to her.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And you need spice to be in Dune.
I mean, just every fucking
It's too dumb.
snarky ass line in Game of Thrones. She just
Oh, she was
Another
amazing.
Nailed
fucking flower embroidered.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, yeah, she was
Yeah.
amazing. She was the star of every scene that she was
Yeah.
in, for sure.
tell her I did it.
I want Cersei to know it
No.
was me.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. 100%. Also, weirdly, I didn't think the Sardaukars were big enough himbos.
I never
Yeah.
really thought of them as himbos, but
Hmm.
interesting.
Then they have throat singers for their practices. I was like,
That was cool. I mean, I did think that was a super
Interesting.
creepy. Seleucus Secundus was super creepy, scary. Yeah, I loved that.
Also, Sid tainted Piter for me because every time he talked,
Oh.
I was waiting to hear, "Ooh, Baron."
Goldfrapp.
Oh, yeah.
I love Goldfrapp. Thanks,
Yes.
Gore. Gore, man, he's always there's
Yeah.
probably 3 books list
got
of
knowledge.
stuff I need to
Yeah.
watch from Gore.
Yeah, I did feel like the only thing. I mean, what is it? Dustmalchian? Was it David Dustmalchian?
Yeah.
Right? He was the spot guy in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Him and
Polka Dot
he's-
Man.
Polka Dot Man.
Spot
I'm not-
guy.
Spot dude. Sorry, I don't know if Mars is watching. Sorry.
Yeah, he was in The
DC
Dark Knight.
Sorry,
too.
DC people. But yeah, he was he's really. I mean, that's not the Piter I ever pictured, but I
didn't
think
have
he
a
did
lot
a
to
good
do.
job though. Yeah, he didn't have a lot to
I
do.
agree.
Which also I told Aubrey, I was like, Piter's almost the Boba Fett of this book. He's there's all this buildup of Piter, especially in the book where he's this crazy mentat
He's
assassin.
very fucking
And then-
rapey is what he
And
is.
then he's just he's gone. It just goes out like a.
Ooh,
You know.
I've never had a highborn like Jessica. Ooh. I'm gonna take her out in the desert, rape her,
Yeah.
and leave her dead. It was just
Yeah.
wait, what
What
did you
a-
just say?
No, Jesus, dude.
Because
Dial
him
it
and the
back.
Baron keep going at it, where the Baron's like, he's gonna try and kill me at some point.
Hmm. Yeah, right.
But I
exactly.
need him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they just you just show him and get rid of him. You don't give us don't Boba Fett him. Just
Yeah.
don't even
Yeah,
let us go there.
There was a little bit of I wish there had been a little bit more. And again, it's so nitpicky that I feel bad even bringing it up. The only thing you gave us that dialogue in the trailer from the Gamjabar and then left it out.
Yeah.
Which, again, I get because it's you're basically saying, "Oh, your dad's gonna die," and I'm sure the theater audience is gonna be like, "Wait, she's just putting it right out there on Front Street right
Oh,
away."
yeah. Mhm.
So I get them leaving it out, but just Charlotte Rampling delivering those lines is mainly what I miss.
Mhm.
Because in the trailer, she's like, "Well, my dad rules the planet." She's like, "He'll lose it. Well, he'll die." You don't understand young human. So in the book, when you get to it, the Gamjabar part goes on for about a chapter.
Yeah.
And there's an exchange between
It's pretty extensive. Yeah.
between Paul and the Reverend Mother, where she's basically telling him what's going to happen. and he's in denial. And this is before his prescience, like before he gets put on the planet full of drugs.
Yes.
Basically, it's like putting Scarface on a planet made full of coke.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, no, it's an allergy. It's like, no, he's an addict.
Yeah.
He just doesn't know it yet.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
I see the
Yeah.
spice. Woo, mama.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great movie, guys. Like,
Go see it.
Please
Go
go
watch
see
it
it.
repeatedly.
Yeah.
Go see it.
Like,
I need to go pay for it. Actually, I feel bad.
Yeah.
I bought some donuts though.
Yeah.
Those are
Dough donuts.
dough donuts. Fuck Voodoo Donuts. By the way, go to Dough
Oh, yeah.
Donuts.
Fuck
Voodoo
donuts.
Voodoo
Yeah.
can get right out of here.
is
Yeah.
that where you guys got free tickets from?
No, dough donuts.
Dough Donuts.
No,
Yeah,
no,
Voodoo
no,
can-
that's
Yeah, dough rules.
But or
Voodoo rules.
yeah. Or go to Blue Star. Blue Star's
Yeah.
hands down my favorite. And Phil's.
Yeah.
By the
Oh,
way,
yeah.
if anybody was following Gail Simone's Twitter today, she went on a
Okay.
Dune discussion
amazing.
today.
Just
And-
just varsity level trolling from Gail Simone every day.
Oh,
but then she went to
Every
the
day.
reality of it.
Every day. Love it.
So herself, Terry Dodson, Rachel Dodson, all live where Frank Herbert went to find the dunes to write that
In
article.
Florence.
Florence, yeah.
Yes. So she talked about how like the little town that has 3 stoplights,
It's tiny.
they found it, and how Frank Herbert's daughter donated all of that stuff to the local library. Very interesting because she started trolling
Awesome.
Dune and then
Oh,
went
yeah.
into the reality of things.
Are there
Oh,
are there
I'm
orcs in Dune? Are there orcs in Dune? How
Yes,
come there
yes,
aren't orcs
I
in
saw
Dune?
that.
Gail is a hero to all.
I did see her thread, but the only other thing I saw that was like negative or trolling or whatever was like, I guess people were bitching about the, and I'm assuming this is going to be non-book reading people, about the Chris knife.
I didn't care about the Chris knife really.
What-
I guess there was some
What was
big deal
the-
about it, and I'm
what was
guessing
the-
it has something to do with the far religious zealots that are pissed off about
No.
what it's called or something. I don't know.
They did the thing in
But-
the book that's
Interesting.
very impressive. If they pull the knife, it has to draw blood before it goes back in the sheath.
Yeah.
Looks like the samurai sword.
I know one of the kind of critiques that
Doesn't
I've
glow?
heard. Well, not that, but one of the critiques that I've heard about the movie or movie general is that in the book the word this war path that Paul eventually goes on,
Jihad.
he is called the jihad, and that's a word that is used like hundreds of times,
Yes.
if not almost close to 1,000 in the first 3
start
books.
a holy war.
And so
Right.
in the movie, jihad isn't used,
Mhm.
it's holy war. And so I think that there is some
In his
importance, especially because there's so many other words that are taken from like a Middle Eastern culture that it's like this is the one word that you have a problem with when it's
Mhm.
so much, it's
Right.
used so much
Yeah.
in the books.
Well, and I think that makes sense because, that word being used in that way, which that's a word with a lot of meanings.
It
in
is.
those cultures. And to use it in that one way, especially in I don't like to sound like a cliche, a post 9/11 world,
Yeah.
to decide maybe not to, throw it in there anymore probably makes
Mhm.
sense because we just you're
That
not going to
was
get the discourse
100%
you
a
want.
writer choice.
Right.
Yeah, you're just not
Hear
going to
me-
get the discourse out of it that you want if you just throw that in there. Yeah.
You're totally not going to get the discourse until now because I'm going to give it to you. So I
Okay.
totally think that it should be used, and because I think that like Brian Herbert basically says, maybe took a look at the world then, and now even when we look at our world, when we look at the population, we honestly the people who populate our world are not white people. The average person looks like and someone who is not from America. And I think that who we see in the future represents who we think is going to represent the future, right? So by using a word like jihad, where in Middle Eastern culture, and this is me as an outsider, as an American white girl saying this, the word jihad has a lot more meaning, and it means the struggle. And when we really think that like the jihad is used in this sense as the oppressor, like that's Paul isn't waging a jihad against the Fremen. The Fremen and him are waging a jihad against the fucking colonizers. So and Holy War, really, to me, any holy war that there's ever been has been all about being a colonizer and Christianity and like imposing your religion on people. So I do wish that they had used jihad instead of holy war. One, because it's used hundreds of more times in the books, and because of the meaning as well. Sorry, there's going to be your discourse.
I think that's
kind
that's
of
fair.
imposing his religion on the universe, though.
100%. But
and that's what he's concerned about. I mean, he does struggle with that too. Like that's a part of his character, right? Is he knows he's unleashing this awful violence on the universe. I do think, I guess I would say, like, I think that's a good point, Jennifer. But I guess my only concern is just like it's still in a movie coming from a Western point of view, so it But I think you're right though. I think like that's. Those are great points about like why you could maybe reclaim it, maybe put it, recontextualize it. That would be great if you could do that. So.
Because then I think we would have that discourse.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, can I say something?
Maybe. Yeah.
Please.
Fuck the religious right.
Sure. See, that's what I thought. It might be like them saying,
controversial.
Sorry. Might be them putting the religious right into a different light with that kind of be.
Fuck them.
Fuck the religion.
Well, I find it highly.
They can pound
I find it highly convenient. They tend to forget the Crusades too. Like, that's not a big deal.
Which is something that this movie kind of references, obviously. Like, right? It's like, oh, you can just go to this desert place where there are already people and take its riches, which is, that was really what the Crusades were. It was the West going like, that's ours. Yeah.
And it's History of the World Part 1 taught us, or
Treasure Bath. Treasure Bath.
The Inquisition. You can turn a musical about the Inquisition. So we're after the 2-hour mark. So I did not know we were going to make another meal out of this.
We're not as long as the movie itself.
Yeah.
No.
So after you watch the movie, you could almost be done by now.
Yeah.
So. As you can tell, we all really like the movie.
No, I hate it. It's just fucking stupid. Sorry, I didn't make that clear. No,
we want the sequel to be made. It needs to be made. So go ahead, stream it. Go watch it in the theaters. Let's
buy the Steelbook. Buy the 4K, the Blu-ray.
I don't want this to be another Alita Battle Angel. Read the book.
Read the book. Y'all.
Yes. Dude, I'm all in on the freaking books now.
Because guess what? If they don't make a sequel, the sequel is right here.
That is true.
This is the sequel. So
I haven't read a fictional book in probably a decade. I mean, besides comic books. So like an actual.
No, those are most of those are real though. I think. I believe.
And before we start reading,
you're right. Yeah, those are biographical, historical. I know.
I have to reread all of this.
Oh yeah, we got to read that
to catch up.
What's that?
Oh, that's the real Bible.
Saga? Is that like about the video game? Is that about the video game console?
I heard Jen talking about that on was it Haley's channel earlier today?
Oh yeah,
trying to get Haley into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like I wanted to do the catch up, and I was like, I just want one volume of it, so I bought this off of In Stock Trades for $39.
Wow.
So Dan, honest opinion, do you think I would get into that? You think?
Which Saga?
Yeah. I've never read. I don't know anything about it.
Do you like good things?
I do like good things.
I think you'll like it.
It's a very well written book.
I just wanted to be the first one to jump in, so Jennifer didn't seem like
I prefer
the
Last Man by like miles and miles.
Wait, I don't know. I'm not really sold on it. I want to hear Jen's opinion.
Yeah.
We're
gonna make it to 2.5 hours now. Awesome.
Yeah. Do you have another 2 hours?
Let's go 2:35 here.
Okay. So my maybe like elevator pitch for Saga, if you if you don't already know what the premise is, it's
Romeo and
these.
Juliet in space.
Like a space
He
soap
asked
opera
me,
is what I
Dan.
heard.
Yeah, let's clear out. We're gonna clear
So-
out for Jen right now.
Mute
Yeah.
yourself, Dan.
Yeah, just mute everyone. So with Saga, it is Romeo and Juliet in space. However, it is so much more than that. There's these two worlds, there's a world and there's a moon, and they've been at war with one another. And a soldier from each fall in love with each other. They start a family, but the family is being hunted down to be murdered. And it literally, the first page opens up with the mother giving birth, and she's literally on a table like, am I shitting myself right now? I'm having this kid and am I shitting myself? And most of the narration of the book actually comes from the daughter who's born. And it's not only this struggle for family, it's about the family that you find along the way. And it's about the heartbreak of, I think in a similar way of Dune, where it's like, what's the duty that we owe to our family? What is the how do we fight for our family when we're literally fighting this war? Do people who fight in wars, or do you end wars? And it's in space, and there's tragedy. There's a cat that says lying whenever someone lies.
Oh, I've heard about the cat. Yeah.
Human
Lying
truth
cat.
detector. Or animal truth detector.
There you go. That's the first page.
I'm all in with the cat. You should just led with that.
Oh, sorry. There's mercenaries. There's a mercenary called the Will who has the cat, and
The stalk, that's the spider creature.
Stalk.
Yeah.
Are there any
It's so
Italians in it or no?
I feel like the Will maybe is Italian. I don't know.
yeah, I could
What do
totally
you
Okay.
see
All right.
think? I think the Will could be Italian.
Will Italian. Yeah.
I'm
This is
sold.
this is my treasure.
Little funny
To
story.
me,
I actually
Dennis
have the
Staples.
reprint of the first issue. I've just never read it.
Oh hell yeah!
Don't read that first issue. Buy the
What?
trade.
Buy the trade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna want the second issue immediately.
Whoa,
Yeah.
Gore dropping a bomb.
And
Yeah.
eventually, we're gonna do the
What?
Saga catch up before the new series comes out in
January.
January.
Also, okay, so Saga, 3 years ago, they said that they were going to go on hiatus for a year.
Yeah.
And it stopped at issue 54 on like a major cliffhanger. We were told that we would only have to wait a year. It's been
Wise.
3 years,
Damn
and we've
wise.
finally got it. We'll get it in January, issue 55.
I mean,
We
to
thought
be
it was
fair,
going to save us from the pandemic. It did not. It waited a little bit
Yeah.
longer.
yeah, it's hard,
Now
guys.
we're
Speaking of
doing
long
better.
waits, is George R. Martin's final?
I don't want to talk about.
Has
That's-
anyone
is it-
checked on him?
That's
Is he
not
still
coming
alive?
out.
That's what I haven't seen or
wrote a
heard
fucking
anything on
video
his
game.
Twitter.
It's not coming out, guys.
He
It's
wrote a
not.
video
But
game.
Did you
I'm sorry.
did
A
you check his
video
live
game?
journal though?
I did.
That's the book. You got to read his live journal.
That's actually true. He does post chapters on there.
And he also
That's what you're
posted
gonna
about
get.
the fucking New York Jets.
Because
Yeah.
here's the thing, I'm looking for redemption on
Same.
because
we
the
all?
last season of
Aren't
Game
we
of
all?
Thrones is garbage. I'm sorry, it's
What?
garbage.
But this is my
So-
theory. You want to know my theory? Is that they had his notes, and he's like, "Oh shit, that was pretty much what I was gonna do."
I'm gonna give Wheel of Time a chance
Maybe.
on Amazon.
I mean,
Wheel
That's
of
my
Time
theory.
looks good.
It does look pretty cool. Yeah.
Wait, did you watch it already?
Wheel of Time looks good.
Oh, I thought you said it is good. I was like, wait, did you watch it?
No, it looks good. I've tried to read that first book like
Same here.
20 times, haven't been able to do it. My partner loves the series.
I'm hoping the show does it for me because the book sure as fuck did.
Oh man, see that goes back to our thing we were talking about before. It's like
Thank you.
the source material, and then
If I
these.
could have gotten Nita Hawes, I would have been on that stream, but I didn't want to go on if I couldn't represent Rodney Barnes. Which I still didn't get a copy of it. I don't want to buy
Yeah.
digital because I know I'm buying physical.
Dude, I can't wait for the Dune 4K Steelbook. As soon as that goes
That's gonna
live,
be cool.
I'm
Yeah,
fucking ordering it.
that's gonna be cool.
Oh yeah, and the Best Buy has been a fucking nightmare to order. From.
Oh my god, dude, ridiculous!
I got the Halloween one ordered, so
Global supply chain issue.
Mhm.
Man.
well, yeah, and then now like bags and boards for your comics is like a fucking another nightmare to get.
Yeah.
I
naked-
literally just ordered 300 bags, and I have 300 here not used, and I just ordered another 300 just in case.
Only 300? That's only going to last you like a week, though.
I know, right? What am
Maybe
I
two.
gonna do?
What are you going to do?
I went to 3 comic stores yesterday trying to get books so I could be on the fucking show. Because I was like, I'm not going to buy digital because I know I'm buying these physical. And like, everybody's like, oh, I didn't get all my books. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I know in the Midwest anyway, there's a lot of supply chain issues with comic books. I've seen a lot of people talking about their shops not getting DC, Marvel being delayed. So yeah, it kind of sucks right now.
DC's been pushing back a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Well,
A
the
lot
image
of
isn't,
stuff.
Image isn't
made
doing
the announcement. No more second prints.
No more second printing.
Some more second prints.
Glad I pre-ordered. What was that? What's that?
Got to
Matt
get that spec
Rosenberg,
value
Tyler
up on
Boss
the first
book.
prints.
It's
The
coming
which
out.
book?
The Rosenberg Boss, Matt Rosenberg, Tyler Boss book.
The Farthest Place from Here or something?
Yeah, for this place from here. Yeah, I'm glad I
Yeah.
got that ordered.
Can I just say that I'm
Missed out.
actually looking forward to no second prints from Image because what's your name? I know that you're watching. I get 20 emails from you a fucking day about like things that are going to second and third printing.
This is where I would. This
Cat
is where I pretend to
Salazar
be
from
them.
Image.
Oh, this is
Cat
where I
Salazar.
pretend to be Cat Salazar in the chat.
I
I'm
would
tired of your
also
emails.
like
my move.
to bitch about Rosenberg and Boss doing that fucking book when We Can Never Go Home got left on a fucking goddamn ledge.
But apparently is this going to be a sequel to it?
Fuck if I know.
Oh, I wasn't aware that it was a sequel to anything.
I think.
And
Don't
the
hold me to that.
The interview I heard, maybe I didn't listen to the interview close enough. It didn't mention that, but
I was only able to get
I don't
the Brubaker graphic novel.
oh, I got that. Love it. Love those.
Yeah, that was the only one I was
Oh.
able to get yesterday from Image.
Love those.
I missed out on King Spawn. God damn it.
Oh,
Damn it.
The Needle Halls, I was like, all right, well, I don't really want to buy this digital, and my hard drive on my iPad is got 5% left on it because I have 225 books to read on it.
But you can put them back in the cloud.
There you go.
I need to get through this. Like, I need a week off
Yeah.
to just get through the whole list.
Right.
Anyway, I have to get going because it's really late.
same here. It's my
Yeah.
bedtime.
Jeez, it's after 8. Oh my
It is
goodness.
after 8.
Oh my God, it's 10:15.
Oh my god, it's almost 11:30. But thank you everybody who
Yep.
came in and watched. I never know people are going to actually watch us go on and on about Dune. I have no idea when we're coming back to do season 3, Children of Dune.
Are those the prequels or
No, that's the third book.
that's the third? Okay.
I am thinking about maybe Christmas or New Year's doing a saga catch-up show
Ooh.
Ooh.
where we talk about saga and all of it and what.
Do you know
went
anybody
on.
Do you know anybody that likes it enough though to be on that show?
Can we have Gore? I need Gore to be on this panel.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gore needs to come on some panels.
I want
I
a
know
contrary
pretty-
take on here.
Pretty Nerdy already said that she wanted to come on, who will be joining us next week for the Ink Panels Graphic Novel Book Club, doing Witches by Scott Snyder and Jock for
Yeah.
Halloween.
I gotta read that.
And I think we're doing 30 Days a Night for Celluloid and Scotch next week. You didn't really agree or not. You just kind of hit the
Did you
like
send-
button.
What? I don't remember. Oh, I don't know. Maybe you did.
I said I was thinking about 30 Days a Night for next week, and you just kind of hit the liked message and didn't reply.
Sounds
Oh,
good.
I did take a few days away from social media and stuff. Yeah. So
So
yeah, I think that might have been the last thing I liked, and then
okay, well,
like, oh,
think
no
about it, let
response.
me
Still
know.
know that I'm down for it.
I figure it's a horror movie that
Yeah,
is a little bit.
I've been wanting to
complicated.
rewatch that, so it's been like 10
I've been
years.
too. It's one of those ones I think gets slept on a little bit. That
Yeah.
it's kind of a great vampire movie.
Manu Bennett, baby.
I forgot he was in that shit.
Yeah.
Everybody's screaming gore.
Gore.
Yeah, gore.
The people are demanding it.
Yeah. It'll be a bloodbath.
Saga, yeah, I'm sit on. What did the fuck you just say? There is bone zoning in there, and Pound Town, and everything else.
Yeah, there's
I like-
drugs. Oh.
Yeah, I like your
Dog
guys' pitch.
chair.
I like your guys'
Just
pitch
can't
better
get
because
past dog chair. I'm sorry.
my pitch is usually Saga's R-rated Star Wars, but
Ooh.
It's better.
It's like-
I don't know. R-rated, maybe XXX. I'd be down.
it could be XXX rated.
It-
No, well,
there's-
there's some.
It's borderline.
Yeah, there's very spicy moments.
So it's like NC-17.
Yeah, it's like softcore porn.
Soft.
Was Goose
There's-
Chewbacca?
You see some things though.
Oh boy,
Oh,
some
See
Oscar Isaac things.
yeah.
Not quite. Nothing
Oscar Isaac
that.
would be Prince Robot.
Nothing
Yeah.
quite that glorious.
Some
but
side butt.
imagine that would be how I would describe Fiona Staples' art. Is like if you imagine what Oscar Isaac's gloriousness as a comic book artist. That's Fiona Staples. Also a very nice person.
Prince
Fiona
Robot.
Staples. There's this company, Smut Peddler, and they did an anthology of because they've done a couple of them, like My Monster Boyfriend, which is basically just like monster fucking porn comics, and they did one called Sex Machine, and it's, you guessed it, like people having sex with like robots and shit, and Fiona Staples does the first story, and it's just sets it all up. Sorry.
So they put out a Saga pin, and it's basically Alana getting eaten out by Marco.
Yeah.
They put that out as a pin for people to wear on their jackets.
Yeah.
Oh, heavy metal is good. I like heavy metal.
Saga, it's a little bit above PG-13.
Yeah.
Hefty, yeah, the ogre guys. Come on.
Is it NC-17 maybe?
Yes. I mean, yeah. I think.
Yeah, Scott said yes to that earlier. Come on.
I think it's at least R.
Yeah.
It could be NC-17 though. Well, Jen, what do you think? R, what would you rate it? You're the
I'm gonna go with,
Saga head for sure.
I think that I do want to say NC-17 because NC-17 is below R, right?
It should be
Oh,
above.
I
think
thought
it's
it was a
above.
slot
Above.
above. Yeah,
Is it?
It's
I'm
above,
gonna-
but it's not. It's like above, but it's not porn.
it's
because-
above because it's
hope
I
nobody
think
orders
because of the
everything.
nudity or whatever, but it's not quite.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
So there's a
Yeah.
lot of nudity. There's a lot of drug use. There's a lot of
Language.
swearing. There's a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
language, but it's really about family.
It's a Fast and the Furious movie.
It's a Fast and Furious in space
Sweet. I'm sold.
with boobies.
with boobs.
It's Vin Diesel
Sometimes
playing
6
the
to
wheel.
1.
About family.
Okay, if Saga is, so we've established that like NC-17 rated R, right? So
Yeah,
rated R, NC-17. Saga is rated R. Odyssey is NC-17.
So PG-13, you get one fuck and some side boob.
Right.
Yeah, this is definitely rated R.
Or you get one boob because I think Titanic was rated R or PG-13. Right.
And
And
there's a-
American.
But that was for art.
Yeah.
I know. Well, yeah. The reasoning, whatever, but it's just one.
Good old
Yeah. If Milo Manara did R,
I
I feel like you feel like
I feel like Dan has some feelings about that.
BKV would get pages back and he'd be like, "Can you dial it back just a little bit?"
Yeah, just
buddy?"
a little bit. Like
Just a
we
little.
really don't need to see like it's like I didn't ask for like what does a vulva look like if it had been like vacuums like sealed because that's how Mila Manara like draws costumes is was
Also-
that pussy vacuum sealed?
Yeah. Also, we'd be celebrating the release of issue 5. I think at this point. So it's
can we get a little less camel toe?
Like,
Yeah.
I don't find like Mr. Manara is super fast. Maybe he is.
It's because he's doing all that butthole detail.
Well-
like he's just like I gotta make sure I get this butthole right.
Well, yeah. Well, those Europeans just have to put out 40 pages a year in a hardback, and it's like cool, These American comic book artists got to, put
Yeah.
out units,
Can we have a little bit less hair? Really, this is. I don't know what this is, but I don't know if our readers want this. You don't.
They're saying like,
art.
so you're saying specifically for like tweens, Saga is a good place to start, right? That's
No.
weird.
Yeah.
That sounds like
Yeah.
the pitch here. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I know I've said this a million times, but my first step onto the internet was rotten.com, which is like
Oh God, I do vaguely recall.
Two
this.
Girls, One Cup is basically how I got introduced to the internet. Like that, and discovering whitehouse.com
Oh my God.
is a very different site than whitehouse.gov. So that was my first.
Lemon Party.
Yeah, Lemon Party. Yeah.
They have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Good for them.
So Saga's one of those books that will
Saga.
like do every emotion for you. Like you're gonna be mad, you're gonna be upset, you're gonna have feels.
You're gonna get a little bit of a boner.
A person's
Yeah.
name I'm never going to mention on this show that I used to date. Like I got her the book and immediately got like weird texts in the middle of the night like, all right, this kind of has me horny. And then
Gives you a boner.
I swear to God, if this person dies, I'm gonna fucking hate you forever.
And that person probably dies.
Did you date the stock?
Yeah.
Might as well have. Just
Sorry,
shorter.
I don't
a lot
mean
shorter.
to dredge up anything.
Nah, just shorter, like 4'8.5".
Stock is much taller.
Yeah. Anywho,
Make sure to smash the like button. You guys got bonus Saga content on this.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Dan
so
needs
join us
likes.
next week for Ink Panel's graphic novel book club, and Friday or Saturday, I don't know what day yet, that we're going to be doing 30 Days a Night. It's happening though. Just keep track on Instagram because that's where you'll mostly find us. And I will see you later because I have to get on Xbox to play Back for Blood in a little bit. Yep, I have a very busy life. Take care, everybody. Thanks, and see
Read
you
the book.
later. Yes, read the book. Bye.